This is 80s Revisited. I'm your producer, Jesse Sedgley. And now, your host, Trey Harris.
Your best shot. Motherfucker.
Fatality. Jason wins again and again.
Yep.
Welcome back. Surprise episode of 80s Revisited.
This way.
That's right. But you know what? I was sitting there thinking, you know what? Friday is Friday the 13th.
It's true.
Last one of the year. Mm-hmm. And as we always do on the podcast, at least the past several Friday the 13th, whenever there is one, we cover a Friday the 13th. And this is the last live episode, me and Jesse in the same room for a while.
Yeah,
I'll be coming back and forth from my new home in Oxnard, California, because that's how they talk out there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, welcome to Oxnard.
In all of America,
That's
how
right.
they talk.
Everybody talks like that. But anyway, I was like, you know what? What better way than to kill two birds with one stone by doing another episode?
Yeah.
And also rounding out the 80s Friday the 13th movies, because this is the last Friday the 13th movie to come out in the decade that we like to gush over here on the podcast, called 80s Visited, with me as your host, Trey Harris. Of course, my producer, the hockey master, my horribly disfigured face, Jesse Sedgley.
Yes, I am.
Jason Takes Vancouver is a more accurate title, but more on that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, there's 100 podcasts about Friday the 13th out there. Great documentaries, all that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff's been said, but you haven't heard what we've got to say about it. So that's why you're here. And also, you're probably looking at this and say, oh, Friday 13th podcast. Oh, wow. Let me check this podcast out.
Yeah.
So welcome to the newbies that Jason has brought in. But anyway, let's get right into it. Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan was released on July 28th, 1989, 2 days before my brother's fourth birthday. IMDb gives it a 4.6. Rotten Tomatoes, 8% critics, 27% audience. Yeah, more on that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Estimated $5 million budget, which $5 million was not enough to film anything but one scene in New York City in 1989 dollars.
Wow.
So it is expensive
Mostly
to shoot.
security.
Probably.
Mostly that.
I mean, you got to stop Jason from killing a whole bunch of people in Times Square and everything. So you got to, the Army's got to be out there. Maybe the Air Force. Opened at 6.2, so it made its budget back in opening weekend. Would domestically and worldwide go on to gross $14.3 million. So it's still nearly tripled its minuscule budget, even by, well, not so much for a horror movie in the 80s. Pretty regular, nice size budget, but by today's standards. Not even independent films usually get made for $5 million bucks. Nowadays, like $10 million's an independent. So couldn't find any information on rentals, but I'm pretty sure over the course of, we're talking late 80s here. VHS was in its prime. DVDs are coming in about, taking over. Let's see, when did PlayStation 2 come out? Was PlayStation 2 in the late 90s?
2 come out.
Because... Oh, wow, not till 2000. So
March 4th, 2000.
Still had a good long run on VHSs because pretty much when the PlayStation 2 came out, being a DVD player, that put DVD in 200 million more homes that may not have a DVD player. And then that's what changed. That's why we had DVD for the longest time, was because of PlayStation 2. Having that amazing feature. That was my first DVD player.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Xbox 360 bringing HD DVDs into every home.
They made the mistake because you had to buy the add-on, and we all know that add-ons, Sega can tell you. Yeah. Although I love and miss the Sega CD.
Yeah.
So, but thank you to Limited Run Games for bringing back Corpse Killer, Night Trap, Double Switch, those old FMV games from Sega CD. Still waiting for Ground Zero Texas, and I just want on one of these damn, mini consoles or whatever, Eternal Champions CD.
Yeah.
If that mini Sega, because they had Eternal Champions, which is fine. Almost got it for it. Mm-hmm. But if it had Challenge from the Dark Side, instant buy. I'd have one on every TV in the house. So I could get my ass kicked in that game repeatedly because it was so damn hard until you master a particular character. But anyway, Friday the 13th Part 8 was written and directed by, to use the proper vernacular, Rob Hedden. He directed a few episodes of the Friday the 13th TV series. Wrote and directed them, I should say, which is what got him this job of writing and directing Jason Takes Manhattan. He also he directed a few episodes of The Commish, wrote a few MacGyver episodes, and The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, hell yeah! And of course, we're staying in a hotel right now before we catch a plane to California tomorrow. So I actually have cable for the first time in like 10 years. Right. So I watched Raw last night, but the USA version, and then next Monday is 3/16, so it's Austin taking over. Yeah. And I'm like, that couldn't happen this Monday.
Nope.
Where I have cable, an episode I want to watch, I can at least know half of what's going on. But anyway, cinematography was by Brian England, no relation to the great Robert England, although he did do the cinematography of The Hidden 2, an underrated sci-fi sequel in my opinion, and also one of the earlier superhero movies in the form of the Generation X TV movie, which was horrible. I remember seeing that advertised on Fox, because I was reading the Generation X comic at the time. It was the hottest thing out. Oh, a TV, holy crap, it's like X-Men. Maybe Wolverine's going to show up. Maybe whoever's going to show up. Nah.
Oh, man.
Nah. There's the White Queen on the right. You got Banshee. I think Jubilee was in it. Husk. And then like a whole bunch of people that you've never heard of before. Wow. Just to round out, to have mutants. It was bad.
It looks like 90210.
Yeah, with mutants.
Like they were trying to do something there.
But not good.
Right, but not good.
I mean, not that I watched 90210. That was definitely not my thing. I was the guy that was too cool to watch the show that had all the guys with sideburns on them on the show, because all the girls in school were like, oh, Luke Perry, or the other guy that was in Tombstone, Brandon.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know his name.
Oh, they're so hot. Oh, the sideburns are so hot. I'm, sixth grade me's like, I can't even grow sideburns. I'll never get the girls to like me.
I can only grow sideburns.
Now nobody wants sideburns.
Yeah,
it's not cool now to have like the sideburns down. I guess it's sideburns down, all the way to your chin line.
I just went full beard. So
you get the strap.
Yep.
So I'm usually shaved once a week, but being homeless, I need a decent razor. But let's see. Yes, Brian England, not that, he's not that good of a cinematographer. Let's just put it that way. Hey, if you're listening, pal, I'm not talking shit about you. You've done more than I have cinematography-wise, so you're a better cinematographer than me. But anyway.
True. He hasn't worked since 2007, but yeah.
Is he dead? Go up. Make sure
I don't think he's dead. Unless they just didn't report
They don't even have his birthday on there or his picture. No respect. Brian England's no respect. For good reason. But anyway, starring Jensen Daggett. No, that's not the lead actor. That's the lead actress. It's Rennie. She was in Major League 2. A lot of TV, including an episode or two of Briscoe County Jr., starring the great Bruce Campbell. Speaking of the Fox network. Tiffany Paulson was Susie. She was also in Runaway Bride, one of my mom's favorite movies because it reunited Richard Gere and Julia Roberts to try to rekindle that Pretty Woman magic. And he was, strangely enough, she also wrote, she's I guess a more successful writer than anything, but she wrote the Nancy Drew film that came out in 2007 and the Adventures in Babysitting TV movie, which didn't know that existed, but hey, she actually has more credits, I believe, on IMDb as a writer than a actor. So she found a different niche for her. So good for her. Peter Mark Richmond was Charles. Now he's been in a ton of TV. He's the one established actor they got in this at the time, at least. He was in Naked Gun 2.5, Swamp Thing on TV, Dynasty, Fantasy Island, recurring character roles on all this stuff. He's done a whole lot. He's the one when you watch this, you're like, this guy looks kind of familiar. I know I've seen him on something because you happen to see an episode or two of television that he was in. He looks a lot like he's kind of like a cheap TV version of F. Murray Abraham.
I don't know who that is.
The second you see him, oh, that guy.
Oh, that guy.
Amadeus.
Yeah, I know that guy now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I know that face,
Yeah.
Character actors always get that. Stephen Tobolowsky gets that a lot.
Yeah.
I know you from something.
Everything.
Yeah, because he's been in 2,000 things.
Exactly. Todd Caldecott was Jim. He was in Fear with Mark Wahlberg and an episode of Wise Guy. Scott Reeves, no relation to Christopher, was Sean. He was regular on Young and the Restless, Nashville, and most recently, Dolly Parton's Heartstrings on Netflix. So he's still working. And then I mentioned that Peter Mark Richmond, he had like 160 credits, I believe, on IMDb. Kelly Hu, the lovely and gorgeous Lady Deathstrike, a.k.a. Kelly Hu from X2, Scorpion King, a lot of TV, including an episode of Tour Duty. She does a lot of voice acting now, but she actually has 162. Oh, 100. No, okay, I might have it backwards. He had 120. She has 126.
No, he had 159. She has 126.
Oh, I must have completely dyslexic in my brain. Then never mind. Forget everything I said. It was stupid. It was dumb. I take it back. No, but this was her first film.
Yeah.
So he had been acting years and years before this. So at that time, again, he was established. But she's gone on. She's kind of the breakout star, so to speak, in terms of still working. She voices Shredder's daughter in all the Ninja Turtle stuff since that character was introduced on the Nickelodeon TV show, I believe. Karai. Yeah. So that's her. Very, very beautiful lady. And then Ken Kurtzinger, he's the cook in here, gets thrown through a glass window when Jason's in New York. He's a stuntman, done a ton of stuff, done stunts in Watchmen. Speaking of X2, he was in X2, the Halle Berry disaster Catwoman, Dreamcatcher, by the Stephen King movie. But most importantly, he actually would then be Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. So Jason kills Jason,
nice,
a future Jason, killing him so hard he becomes Jason in the future. So and then of course, speaking of Jason, none other than Kane Hodder as Jason. Of course, he was Jason in the longest running Jason, so to speak. Jason in 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then in Adam Green's fantastic Hatchet series, he's Victor Crowley in all 4 of those. But he's popped up in a ton of horror stuff. I mean, he's a horror icon, much like Robert Englund and Jeffrey Combs and all that. Certain horror actors that just always get cast in horror films all the time. But I mean, he was. When I was a kid, he was the Jason at the time, because he was at that point he was the only one that ever repeated the role, because everybody, you really brought something new to the role. And on all those 100 other Friday the 13th podcasts, dedicated Friday the 13th podcasts, mind you, that I mentioned, and I listened to a couple of them. Some of them are good, some of them are shit. I'm not going to name names. There's always some good stuff to listen to out there regarding especially these horror series, because there's so much to talk about, and a lot of people in our demographic grew up on them, and now we're all educated and older and do podcasts, so you have a lot of that content. But Kane Hodder really brought. Imagine if Robert Englund wasn't Freddy until part 3.
Yeah,
there is no other Freddy. Of course, this is a what if scenario, but I mean, and a lot of people are like, oh, Ted White was the best Jason. What's his name? Steve Dash was the best, or whoever. Like, there's in the Friday community, a lot of people, oh no, you're stupid for thinking that, or blah blah blah. But in fact, speak for themselves. Kane Hodder repeated the role 4 times in a row.
Yeah,
nobody's ever else has done that with Jason.
He's longest running Jason.
Yeah, even though Jason walks.
Right.
That was a horrible dad joke. Sorry.
Longest walking Jason.
Because one podcast, because this he's never been human Jason. He's always been zombie Jason.
Right.
So like somebody because Kane does like the kind of the deep breathing, like he's not sitting there going, he's not huffing like Michael Myers at the end of the first one, like, but like he's, and the Jason that scared me more than any other was always the one from part 7, and mainly starting with part 6, because going to C.J. Graham's Jason, that was the first Jason, again, where the eyes are blacked out, so you got the hockey mask over the face, you see nothing behind that mask. And said it before, in every Halloween episode, every Friday the 13th episode, that's what's scary to me. When I can see the eyes of the person behind the mask, it's not as scary. Because I see the humanity there. When it's just voids. That's what Michael Myers is, the shape. That's what that's why they call them that, because that's what's scary. There's nothing. There's nothing to reason with. There's nothing to plead with. You are dead. And
D-E-D.
And I think that's what carries over to the Friday series with the later entries where you don't see his eyes. And like 6 does a couple of close-ups on, and in the age of HD, if you look close enough, you can definitely see him for sure. But to me, the effectiveness of the scare and the what sends a shiver down my spine is not seeing somebody in a hockey mask. It's seeing a dude with skeletal bones protruding. You don't see the eyes, and you just see that blank face just staring at you. And like, again, I'm breathing because I have to breathe, but that like imposing like figure. A lot of people have a problem with that. I don't. Why does a zombie need to breathe? Well, this is a fucking movie.
All right.
About a zombie to begin with. Zombies don't exist, so we're going to base the physics on zombies. I understand the argument both ways. I'm just poking fun. I don't think it's anything to bitch about in terms of something. But hey, if that ticks you off, that's fine. Whatever. There's no right answer for saying who your favorite Jason is. But
it's a preference.
If you want to go factual, based on, if this was in court, we had to decide objectively. I'm sorry Melissa sings on the Twitch chat, but zombies aren't real. Well, not in the way of coming back from the dead and craving human flesh. In Haitian voodoo, listen to our Serpent in the Rainbow episode from our year-long Halloween Havoc Odyssey last year for the real version of zombies. But yeah, anyway, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I remember sneaking into movies still have it in theaters, the big standees, big Jason mask looming over the city. Scared the crap out of me as a kid, that poster did. Because again, you walk around the corner of the movie theater and there's a gigantic Jason doing this with his black eyes just staring at you and got a knife and New York City's under him. Like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. So we go to the movies, like, hey Mom, we're going to go watch, I don't know, what came out in 1989. Well, Batman did, but I would have gone to see Batman.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have left Batman to go see Jason Takes Manhattan.
I see Batman for the 5th time. Yeah,
but I remember sneaking into it and catching like a couple of times. We would go, back in the day, we'd go to the movies all the time. Before Violet, I went to the movies all the time. Before they had, it was reserved seating everywhere, and the way it is now, where it's pretty difficult to sneak into a movie and like sit down and watch it because reserved seating. Oh, that seat may be empty, but the real person might walk in at any second. So you get because the second our local theater that I go to often here in Louisiana, the second they went to reserved seating, every time we go, me and Autumn, I always go to the bathroom before the movie and then again before the trailer. So I do not like getting up during a movie in a theater to go take a piss. So, and every time when I never think till after the fact, but like, okay, go get the seats on, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. And then the second one, there were some people sitting in the seat like, gah, because I can't wait to get up there and bust them. Like, and here's the joke. Or speaking of Friday the 13th, this is me and Autumn when we go to the movies all the time. We always get seats F13 and F14. Friday the 13th for F13, obviously, and F14 for Top Gun. And also in the theater we go to, those are perfect seats, kind of in the middle, little off to the side, right by the aisle, easy access, etc., etc. But for
you're gonna have to change that now.
Yeah, I know. I'll take seat FF28 in bigger theaters in California. And
sure.
But so yeah, every time we go to the movies, when we have to reserve a seat, I always pay homage to Top Gun and Friday the 13th.
Nice.
So if ever you go to the theater and you're sitting in the seat F13 or F14, you will now think of me.
There you go.
So, but yeah, but I snuck into this movie. I never saw the entire thing in the theater. Because again, it's like, whatever we'd go to see, I say back in the day like it's forever ago, but people still do this today. I'll be in a movie and I'll look down in the hallway, people are just leaning against the wall, coming to check out some of the movie. Or whatever. But, the movie me and my brother go see. Well, our whole family goes to the movies. We want to see this movie. The parents want to go see this. Our movie starts 30 minutes before our parents' movie and gets out 45 minutes before theirs in. So, and of course, movie theaters used to have arcades. So we either go to the arcade or if something cool was playing, we just go, peek in and just go sit down quietly in the back and sit for a few minutes and watch something we weren't supposed to. And this was one of the first ones I vividly remember because I always caught like parts of it. And then, of course, comes out on VHS, sneak over to a friend's house, watch it over there. And USA loved it as well. It was one of those ones they'd always play with, usually with Part 7. That's 89.
So, yeah, you would have been seeing, of course, Batman could have been up there. When Harry Met Sally, that's what your parents went to see.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. There you go. Like, yeah, we're going to go see that. That's actually like the top 10 are all really pretty good movies. Turner and Hooch, Lethal Weapon 2, Batman, of course, Harry Met Sally, Part 8, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, License to Kill, Last Crusade, Dead Poets Society, Peter Pan re-release, meh. But Ghostbusters 2 is right there, number 11. So that was a really...
Now, how many weeks has it been on? Oh, not too long. Though Last Crusade was on for the longest at 10 weeks, but everything else
that was the first movie I ever saw twice in a theater.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was the first one I saw twice in a theater. Because that was 88, and this was 80, and pretty sure it was 88.
Excellent Adventure.
Let's find out. Oh, no. Same
February
year.
17th,
Earlier that same
89.
year, excuse me. That's why I was so mentally confused. It was the same year.
Just 5 months ago.
Yeah. So at age 9 was when I started repeat viewing. Because back in the day, kids, that's the word. The phrase of the day is back in the day. Because I've said it like 8 times.
Nostalgic. But yeah.
But yeah, so but then watching it, for full on TV, and then of course now all the time whenever you want to because of on demand streaming, all that kind of fun stuff. This we talked about this on part 5 and part 7, how very, very similar to Star Wars fans right now. We got 29 Marvel movies, however many it was total, and we only got, let's see, the new trilogy, Solo, and we got 5 new Star Wars movies. And then I guess we had too many too fast. That was over 6 years.
Yeah.
We had one Star Wars movie a year, 3 to 4 Marvel movies a year, and it's like, oh, you're burned out on them. We're gonna not release anymore. Like, we're taking a break. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
As long as they're good, people are gonna see them. But we're at the age where film theaters are at an age now where like movie has to make $1 billion to be successful. Dr. Sleep was exceptionally well done. Talked about it last episode. But it's considered a failure because it only made $400 million at the box office worldwide. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend today, trying to see all my friends in person before we leave town, at the local theater that I mentioned several times already. But he was saying this year is really bleak for movie theaters because there's not a single film released this year projected to break $1 billion. The number one film that they project...
That's a lot of money.
The number one film they expect to be the number one film this year is going to be Wonder Woman 2. And that's only projected to make $400 million worldwide. Now, next year, you got Avatar 2. I don't know what else is coming, but like he was telling me, like they're having to send people home early. They're having to. It's hurting the box office because there's no big hits coming out. There's nothing projected to be that. There's no blockbusters.
Right.
Now, when I say blockbusters, we're talking in-game level, Rise of Skywalker level film.
Right.
There's nothing that level in 2020. There's some good films coming out. There's absolutely some great ones coming out. Wonder Woman, Black Widow looks more interesting to me when I see it. And now that I know Taskmaster is the villain, I'm really excited for that because I love Taskmaster in the comics. Although he looks like he's about to go play paintball and not, fight superheroes. The new Bond film, which, Candyman looks, I don't know if you've seen the trailer. It looks phenomenal. It looks so good.
Wow.
I just saw it because you were scrolling past it.
Yeah.
And then, there's nothing. None of these films that you're looking at are gonna. Of course, the Bond film's gonna make money, but they've dropped. Their revenue is not staying. It's not going up.
Right.
And all that, So even the Disney stuff, Mulan. What else does Disney even have coming out? I can't even tell you. Oh, Scoob, of course. The prequel to Scooby Doo is going to be huge.
Or Scooby-Doo
huge.
A lot.
And there's some great. No, don't get me wrong. There are some great stuff. Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Speaking of Top Gun, the Top Gun sequel.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff coming out. Denis Villeneuve, I can never pronounce it. Villeneuve. However you pronounce his goddamn last name. But his remake of Dune's coming out. That's probably my most excited film. Or the most anticipated film, I should say, because I love the David Lynch one. I haven't covered it on the podcast yet, but we'll get to it. Because it takes some time. But anyway.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess 2020 is kind of bleak.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be... Like, there'll be some consistently good movies.
Right.
Or movies that interesting movies, I should say. But there's nothing like... That's just... Like, oh, shit, can't wait for this. Wonder Woman is definitely that, because a lot of people are looking forward to it, like the first one. But, fanboys and fangirls are a fickle bunch. Fandom, excuse me, put it that way, is a fickle bunch these days. To where, but what got me on that tangent going back. Friday the 13th. This is their 8th entry. They had to do something new. We talked about this in part 5. They did something new. Everybody's like, oh, it's more of the same crap. Jason comes back and kills people. They do something new, but it's not Jason, and it's Pan. What do? They course correct, just like the Halloween series after part 3. Bring Jason back as Zombie Jason in part 6. Not complaining. Love it. I don't care. I mean, the motherfucker goes to space in 2 episodes. A movie and second movie after this one. So I'm fine with it because you have to accept. First of all, nobody takes these movies seriously. And I do. Somebody just said. You know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say that. These aren't Scorsese's or Spielberg aren't like, wow, they really did a great job with that last Friday picture. Right. I think I'm going to take a handle of that. I'm going to bring gangsters in. Pesci's going to be Jason. We're going to have a great time.
Could you imagine if they did?
You
just take one of these character horror movies seriously.
Yeah.
Like, they take horror movies seriously, just not character horror movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this 2020 is the 40th anniversary of Friday the 13th. But we're not getting a single movie because the lawsuit's still screwing up everything for this series. So hopefully the present to fans for the 40th anniversary will be that the rights will be finally over or figured out and we can get some new Friday the 13th stuff. Because the game revitalized the franchise. Yes, I will absolutely say that. That brought everybody, oh shit, everybody's excited for it. NECA started releasing their Friday the 13th figures more often.
It was actually a decent game, too.
Yeah, if you played it, if you stuck with it and learned how to play it and then just jump on, I don't know how to do anything and talk shit about it instead of learning how to play the goddamn game. But anyway, part 8 was always one that was like, oh, that's so cool. He's going to Manhattan as a kid. You're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, Jason's out of the camp, which is great. You're taking the franchise. You're doing something different. Yeah. And now, of course, the movie's an hour and 40 minutes long. For an hour and 10 minutes, he's on a cruise ship. I'm fine with that. It's Under Siege. At that point, you're taking your toys to the sandbox instead of the mud pit. If that makes any sense. You're playing on the playground, you got your action figures, your friend brought Lionel, you brought Skeletor, y'all are fighting, blah, blah, blah. Oh, let's go over there in the dirt pile and build something, or let's go to the sandbox, let's go over there. You're taking what you're trying to do, you're just putting a location change can change everything. In Friday the 13th fandom, everybody's like always said like, oh, we want to see Jason in the snow. That'd be a fantastic visual. White hockey mask with the snow. You could make some, a good director and a good cinematographer could do a whole lot with that. Now, there's a fan film coming out that's a sequel to Never Hike Alone called Never Hike in the Snow. So a pretty well-done, well-regarded fan film is now going in the direction, because we can't get the movies, but we're getting a shit ton of fan films, which some are good, some are great, some are terrible. But nevertheless, everybody wants to see Jason in the snow, which, that makes perfect sense. But also touch on what you said, with these character-driven horror movies, if Tarantino said, my next, I want to tackle Jason Voorhees. I just got this crazy idea I'm going to do with, Michael Madsen's Jason Voorhees. Like,
I want to work with a guy that doesn't talk.
Yeah. Everybody knows me for my dialogue, but I'm going to do something different here. It's going to be great. Well, and speaking of Tarantino, though, and masked horror characters, he wrote or had a treatment. I don't know if he had a script or just a treatment basically for Halloween 6.
I've heard that.
And it's basically... we haven't covered Halloween 5 yet, so spoilers if you haven't seen Halloween 5. At the end of that, Michael Myers is broken out of jail, and Tarantino's version of 6 would be the Man in Black, and Michael Myers basically on a road trip. What? What? Huh? It sounds fucking awesome. Of course we want to see Michael Myers kill some teenagers and all that kind of fun stuff. That's part of that's why you have 12 total Friday the 13th. Let's see, 7, 8... 9 counting Freddy vs. Jason, Nightmare on Elm Streets, and now we have 8, 9 Halloweens. Yeah, and that's why you have that many of them, because people want to, you can recycle the same stuff in most of them. But you have to get to that point where you have to do something new. Hellraiser 4 Bloodline, where they go to space, but they build the world. Because you know what? In the future, in 80s horror movies, we didn't have iPhones. Make an 80s horror movie now. You can't, because you got iPhones. You have to work this in. You can't just, Okay, well, here's if you're making a Friday the 13th. We get horrible cell reception out here. We're so far in the woods.
Yeah.
Boom, you solved it. One line of exposition. Mm-hmm. And then, but of course, Modern Movie, I can't get a signal. Yeah. And then Jake's shoves the phone in their face or something, and then they fall to the ground. And then it's dialing out or something. Then they get a signal. So that's modern horror. You got to be a little more creative. That would work in the 80s because that would have worked in the 80s because that's what you were getting. Now it's just you got to adapt it, and there's people out there that know how to do it. Mm-hmm. And Jordan Peele. We just talked about Candyman.
Yeah.
Candyman's nowhere near as revered as a whole, and I say that because there's only 3 movies, 4 counting this new one. It didn't pick up because Candyman was in the 90s, so it came out after the slasher craze.
Yeah.
Candyman's a fucking awesome movie. Don't get me wrong. Second one, at the time, it was still terrifying because Tony Todd with a rusty hook for a hand and bees coming out of his mouth is horrifying. So, but Clive, that's, it's a character horror film, with Clive Barker, who, of course, of Hellraiser fame, but we all know where that series went if you watched any of the sequels after 4. Pretty much most people after it went to space were like, oh, clocked out. But you know what? Time doesn't stop. Eventually, people will be living on other planets watching movies about Jason X, like, wow, that was really pathetic. That, that's scary if we're out here watching a meteor on Earth too, and that could be Jason Voorhees. It's silly, but again, like part 8, let's take Jason out of the camp and do something different. Did they succeed? Some of the time. Did they succeed as a whole? No. It's not a good movie. It's a great Friday the 13th movie. It is a bad movie. But I could watch it. Again, when you have hardcore Friday fans who just shit, this one, pretty much all of them after most of them after 6, usually people shit on because Kane Hodder's the best Jason, objectively, but in the worst movies of the series. That's the big argument. I can understand. I can understand how you don't like any of them after 4, because after that, you got people. I can't handle it. It's not Jason. It's a fake Jason. They did something new. No, before 5 comes out, wish they do something new with Jason. I wish Jason was in 5. No, whether you like it or not, they have to do something new. That's the only way to keep it fresh. Because Jason Went to Manhattan is probably what we got eventually part 9 and 10. So these all got into it. And the Friday timeline is so screwed up anyway with the movies, you just gotta okay. I'm not here to understand the logistics of how Jason got to Manhattan out of from Crystal Lake, which had to have a tributary, but is big enough for not a cruise ship, but a very large boat to get in and out of. Who cares?
Right.
That's not why. Did you come to see that movie? Is your name Neil deGrasse Tyson? With 2 accusers for sexual misconduct, by the way.
No.
No. I'm here to eat this big bucket of popcorn and watch just ridiculousness. That's the point of it. Nobody's trying to win an Oscar or a Saturn Award even. Maybe they did. I don't know. But anyway,
2 nominations for something.
Oh, speaking of a Saturn Award, that was because it was
Satellite Award and Saturn Award. Yep.
Yeah, the Saturn Award was for the whole set.
True. Hey, still counts. No.
It's on there. It's like Suicide Squad's got an Oscar, the movie, for makeup or whatever. Didn't deserve.
Yeah.
But although cannot wait for part 2 just because James Gunn's involved, script and directing.
They didn't change the name. They didn't change the name, did they? Still called the Suicide Squad.
I think it's Suicide Squad 2 or something. Or
no, I think it's just called Suicide Squad.
Fine, I'm fine with it.
It's very confusing.
Because I don't care. I will never watch that first one ever again. But I've watched every one of James Gunn's movies multiple times, so I am super excited.
Let's see. Yeah, they added a the. First one's called Suicide Squad. This one's the Suicide Squad.
Totally fine with it. James Gunn knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But part 8 as a kid was always the one that was just like, it was always kind of an outlier because it's not like the others, but it was always the one as a kid, he goes to Manhattan, and I remember on the schoolyard people who had when you're a kid back in the day, to where the only way to see something new was to go to the movie, and at the time we had to sneak into R-rated movies, legit
right,
go in and because they would if they saw you in there if they would come in, people come in and check, employees. And if they saw you without a parent or guardian, you have to oh yeah, that's my mom up there. No, I mean, I never got caught, but like I got asked, like, "Where's your parents at? Are you here? I don't have my stuff. Where's your parents? Up there." You know, like,
Yeah.
and just kind of bluffed. And in hindsight, minimum wage kids didn't care. You know,
Right.
they asked, and I mean, they didn't want to go through all that. Thankfully, I never got caught. So, but,
So glad they didn't pay him enough.
and at $4.25 minimum wage, in
Right.
1989. But yeah, I mean, 8 was always one that when it came on TV. I've said before, like as a kid, I always liked 7 the best because that was the scary one to me. That was the first one that scared me. But 8 being that same blank black eye, the blackest eyes, devil's eyes behind that hockey mask. That's like, look at that cover. That's scary to me. And as a kid, again, the standee was huge. I walked around the corner of the theater. I was like, oh Jesus Christ! You know, I wouldn't want to look at it walking by as a 9-year-old. It's scary as fuck. Was the movie scary? No. It was a great dark comedy though. Put it to you that way. And some of the most, should I say a couple? No, it had an iconic Jason death, which the one that we opened the episode with where he fights Julius on the roof, knocks his head off into the dumpster. That was the kill in the schoolyard everybody talked about. Oh dude, he knocks that dude's head off. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
On the standee.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
As a kid, like, just walk around the corner and there's a gigantic Jason head staring at you.
Just kind of floating above this
Yeah, like,
thing.
So, absolutely.
Got his hands there. But yeah.
It's like he's like pulling it, like,
He's hugging it.
You can't play with this.
Yeah,
These are my toys.
These are mine.
These are mine. See, nowadays they'd have it to where he'd be standing. It'd be the cutout to where they want you to, like, hashtag
Take a picture with him.
Manhattan. Oh, look, Jason's taking Manhattan.
Yeah.
Which, I can't wait for a new one to come out and they do something like that. But
Yeah.
because every standee I see now is like that, meant to, like, they're photo ops, which is genius marketing. Absolutely genius marketing. There's a big SpongeBob boat at Tinseltown. Wow, dated myself
Tinseltown.
there. Perkins Road Theater now, just huge with a big boat where you stand on it. It's like you're on the bow of the boat and SpongeBob's behind you, all that kind of stuff. It's great. Kids will love it. Vonna will love it eventually when she wants to go see movies.
Yeah.
And not just stare at Disney Plus and then change her mind every 5 seconds, like Mickey
Done with
Mouse. Put on Mickey Mouse. Elsa Anna. Put on Frozen. Spider-Man.
You need to load up YouTube. That's what
Well, the thing is, like on YouTube,
Disney highlight.
but she gets picky. She'll be like, she'll throw her iPad off. Thankfully, we have a case on it, like a really nice case. I say nice, but a really well-made kid case.
Right.
She's like on her hot. She's like, Elsa Anna. You throw it off again. You're not watching anything.
Yeah.
Now here's Chip and Dale. Watch it, and then oh, Chip and Dale, okay. And then Spider-Man. So that's my life right now. But I can't wait till she's old enough. When she turns 9, like me, I'm going to show you something. We're going to watch a marathon Friday night. I'm going to scare you shitless. Time to be a man.
Man,
Face your fears. And then, she's watching. Like, Daddy, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Come back. Change. I'm that dad.
Right.
That's going to happen. Stand outside the window and just staring until she wakes.
Get the cardboard cut out.
Oh, yeah, just... It was a great Far Side cartoon where the mom's putting the baby to bed on the top floor and the dad's on the bottom floor. And the caption is, "Don't make me knock 3 times and the red demon appear to make you go to sleep." The dad's on the bottom floor holding a balloon with a big monster face on it. So when he hears the knocks, he raises it up to the window to scare the kid to sleep. That's going to be me.
Yeah.
Sleep, bitch. Just go to sleep. And don't dream of Freddy Krueger.
Right.
But yeah, part 8 was, in closing, it was, when you were younger, it was, oh, that's my favorite one. I probably said that at least once or twice in my young life. Mm-hmm. Is it anywhere near the top now? No. But I will, if it's on, I can't, of course, if I was at the hotel, if I go home and I'm flipping channels and it's randomly on, leave it on. So, is it the one I would pick to throw on? No.
But it's good enough to stay on.
Yeah. Well, it's not one like, hey, you've never seen a Friday the 13th film before? Let's watch Jason Takes Manhattan. No, you just ruin that person from that series because they don't get it.
Right.
This shot we're watching here is the only shot filmed in New York, Times Square.
It makes sense.
I mean,
That'd be really hard to digitally do back then.
They had green screen, but
It looked
it would have
awful.
looked terrible. Yep, but this scene, only one in New York. Everything else is Vancouver, pretty much for the most part. Speaking of Les Trivia, Kane Hodder has said that one of the most fun parts of him being Jason was this. And this is my favorite part of the whole movie, where he kicks the boombox. He
So if you're watching this on YouTube,
oh, yeah, sorry, everybody.
come join us. Or Twitch.
And he doesn't just, like, knock it out of the way. He's straight up, fuck you.
Field goal kicks it.
I'm like, hey, man. And this is the meta moment. You know, you can't do this until part 7 or part 8.
Right.
This is the point you're at. Now, Nightmare on Elm Street went there in part 3, but it worked. You can't, mainly because Freddy talks, and he's about to throw Ken Kurtzinger, as we're watching it live on YouTube here, the future Jason through a window, because he's the cook in this scene. But Jason doesn't talk, so that's the difference. That's why Freddy was the popular one in the 80s. Like, he was, who's my favorite slasher? Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Because he's entertaining himself as a person, as a child murderer.
He makes you laugh.
Jason and Michael Myers are not entertaining. Like, Arsenio Hall did an interview to promote this film. There he is, future Jason, Ken Kurtzinger.
He's a big dude.
Bigger than Kane Hodder. And
whoa,
fuck you!
Nice.
Probably not dead.
Probably not dead.
If he did, he has a glass jaw. But
probably horribly disfigured, though.
And has mommy issues.
Yeah.
No, Jason did that, and like it gave him amnesia, and like Jason, I am Jason.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Arsenio Hall had Jason in Kane Hodder as Jason. You can look on YouTube; it's on YouTube. Kane Hodder does the entire interview in character, aside from the fact that he doesn't murder Arsenio Hall. You know, it's very Jokerish, so to speak, except he doesn't kill anybody. But he comes out with the machete and does basically acts like Jason. It's a great little interview for the time. But anyway, Hank Hodder says that all his scenes in Times Square were like the best part of all the movies being Jason. He said spectators will lined up down the block, and he didn't want to take off the mask to destroy their illusion of Jason, because if he took it off, it's just
him.
Yeah, it's just like a cutout. You see a real face, like, hey guys.
Yeah.
All that. So he basically just stayed in character the whole time, then just turn his head towards them, and they just scream and cheer. How cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. Especially if I was, wow. If little 9-year-old Trey was there, like, he looked at me. He looked at me, mommy. Had that blurry camera picture, from the 80s. We had to get your film developed. Come get it back, and he's blurry, and it's just like, the one picture you wanted to be good from the camera is always the one that does not come out.
No.
Back in the day. That was like,
it's tough back then.
Like when you're growing up and you finally start getting mail, and it's like, oh, I got mail.
Yeah.
Oh. Now you're like, fuck.
I hate mail.
Spam,
I hate phone
spam,
calls.
Spam. Yeah, exactly. Now, unless it's an Amazon box, I don't want to look at what comes in the mail. But as a kid, a lot of it was, when you go, if you had a camera, like, oh, mom would be like, hey, there's like 4 pictures left on this film roll. Go take some pictures of something so I can go develop it. Mm-hmm. Take pictures and then come back, and it's like, oh, did you get the pictures? You want to see the pictures that you took.
Yeah.
It's not like where I can instantly now, oh, look at that, delete, oh, let me touch it up. It was exciting to take pictures back then. Tangent over. Sorry. And according to an interview in Fangoria in August of '89, Kane Hodder actually vomited on cue in the final scene after drinking several pitchers of water. So when he's vomiting with the toxic waste, that's not a special effect. That's Kane Hodder, who had drunk way too much water. So this is the longest running film of any of the current Friday the 13th films, because we will get more in the future at 100 minutes. Definitely a little long for a slasher. They definitely could cut 10 minutes out, but why would you want them to when it's this bad / entertaining? The writer-director Rob Hennon, he originally wrote more of the movie to be set in New York, but as I mentioned, budget, there were scenes at Madison Square Garden, Brooklyn Bridge, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building. But the execs at Paramount, you can't do that. So that's why the 100-minute runtime, 100-minute runtime. Let me do a quick. 70 minutes are 70 minutes are on a cruise ship, and everything else is New York.
All right.
So, and again, by New York I mean Vancouver.
Yeah.
So that's why
the opposite
basically had to change
coast.
it. But then they could have. I don't know if they had the marketing in place first, because there was a great teaser trailer for this film where it shows New York and it's like dun 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 dun. Slowly pans down to show Jason staring at the skyline. Great teaser because you have no clue what movie it is till they show Jason. Then it goes into the full like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Great teaser. So I don't know if that teaser was done. There it is right there. So I'm not sure if this teaser was done like so much before when they got into production.
Probably before.
To where, because I mean, you don't even see the face or anything. It could easily just be.
Could have been anybody.
Exactly. To where like, okay, we have to end up in Manhattan, but we don't have the money. To where they just couldn't make it Jason on a boat.
Right.
Because that would have worked just as good. The boat sinks. Obviously, that's the only, what you have a Titanic type ending. They get away, and you think they get. I mean, you basically paying homage to the series at that point because Jason's doesn't give a fuck about water. Mm-hmm. He lives in it. He's Aquaman. Oh, actually, I forgot about that. He has turn around. But I mean, that doesn't look like Kane Hodder's physique.
It doesn't give away the height. Yeah.
Yeah. He just a reveal like. So. Yeah, but they easily could have just made it Jason. Whatever. USS Jason. I don't know. Call it something stupid. But, that Manhattan, like, oh, let's see Jason kill people in an urban environment. Mm-hmm. That works for video game sequels. Oh, you have this first, I'm trying to think of one offhand, but now I'm thinking more so worlds. Oh, you have your forest world, lava world,
Just anything Ernest did. Jason goes to camp.
Exactly. Camp, jail, Jason goes to jail.
Yeah.
Murders.
Oh, yeah. What if somebody actually tried to convict Jason? He goes through the whole trial process.
Did you have anything to say?
He says it's quick conviction. He goes straight to jail. And then he wreaks havoc in jail.
And then there's a whole bunch of WWE wrestlers that are like the other prisoners. Like,
right.
You killed my cousin, Voorhees. Chaos ensues and it's amazing. Jason goes to jail.
Yeah.
It works. He's already been to camp. He's got to save Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a meme. Somebody tweeted it, but it's a meme for a comedic plot for a new Jason movie. Jason's in Manhattan, or Jason kills a goalie, gets mistaken for being the goalie that he killed, and all of a sudden becomes like the star goalie for the Mighty Ducks or something. So,
yeah. There's still a lot of room for Jason movies.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that's why I think Child's Play, that series, it embraced it knows what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not my favorite because it is so silly, but it knows what they're making a movie about a killer doll here.
Yeah,
and they play into that. And for most of them, again, not my favorite series, but it works for that. To where like, oh, it's a lot of people love it. Hellraiser knew what it was at first, and then like, oh, we're all of these things in different movies. I mean, so much to where there's one of them where it's basically there's an MMO. And the creator invites them to their house to then that's where that one goes. I mean, and people thought it jumped the shark with Bloodline when they went to space. It gets worse. That series gets so off the rails.
They always eventually go to comedy.
Yeah. I mean, whether they mean to or not, don't.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Just happens.
And I think, honestly, I think a lot of that is bad direction in terms of knowing how to land the comedy to where it's not it goes Scooby-Doo. It's Pinhead. The guy coming out of the box. Oh no!
It's like one joke that somebody found funny, and it's like, I gotta put this in here.
And then the actor, the director, they can't. They put it in there. It doesn't work in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But it's still in there, and they have to have that comic relief character. The pothead is always a big one in horror movies. Right. Oh, you always gotta say his line every 5 seconds before he's brutally murdered right near the end, or you think he makes it, and he gets killed right then.
Makes me think of. Kevin Smith tells some stories about Bruce Willis whenever he worked with him.
Oh, was it Cop Out? Was that
Cop Out? Was yeah.
Then he hated working with him or something, or it was not.
They did not get along. But yeah, one of the things was Bruce Willis kept trying to push this joke that just wasn't funny. He's like, it's just not going to make it.
And Kevin Smith knows funny.
It just takes one person to this is going to be funny. People are going to laugh. It's like, no, it's not funny.
I would just film it anyway and put it, no matter what,
Cut it out, yeah.
Yeah, it's an extra on the DVD. Editor cut it out, Bruce. Yeah. Don't look at me. Who's that guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Then Christmas, he comes in his house. You took my joke out. I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Willis.
Aren't you from Moonlighting? Or?
It's Bruce Willis. Oh, yeah, he said it comes from his Moonlight character name.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Hudson Hawk.
Yeah.
What was another one? What was a Bruce Willis bomb? Hudson Hawk's the first one that comes to mind.
Did you watch behind the scenes for the Die Hard movie?
Oh, you mean the documentary?
The one on Netflix.
Yeah. Movies that made us?
Because no one believed he could be an action star.
Exactly. Nobody thought Michael Keaton could be Batman. Heath Ledger could be the Joker.
All right.
Every now and then you get surprised. Sometimes you don't. George Clooney is Batman.
Right. Yeah.
So, but anyway, the cast and crew actually called the movie Jason Takes Vancouver.
Yeah.
So obviously told you, it was and the Times Square scene was actually 2 days of filming. I've had 2 days, 2 nights.
Yeah.
You don't film these movies during the day except the setup. Oh, we're all getting to camp. Oh, it's getting dark. The rest of the movie is at night. From that point
it's
on.
so common for movies to be New York and Vancouver or some other place now.
Yeah,
it's like,
but
I guess back then it was different.
Also, now, of course, I'm sure you had it back then, but now you get the stock footage, or you do the Renegade thing where, even Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters did that. All right, guys, jump out. We don't have a permit. We're going to drive around the block and film you and then get back in the car.
Yeah.
We're going to go show up right here where there's a view of the Statue of Liberty, and we're just going to, okay, light meter's good. Okay, we're going to go. Get their one little scene or their one little reaction shot with the Statue of Liberty, and then they're...
Avengers take green screen room.
The green room.
The green room. Yeah. Avengers take the green room.
Although I imagine that's probably nowadays, that's more expensive than actually going and shooting at the place. Depending on how many people.
The different planets, all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, on the different planets it's cost effective, but
right.
New York or Paris. It's somewhere domestic. I imagine the cost, maybe not for an Avengers movie, we're going to need 80 characters in one scene, obviously, but...
I got a lot of that budgets to the people.
Probably.
So it's just get a green screen room. We can control this environment. Get what we need done. It works.
As quick as possible because, you got to pay them all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so anyway, after the disappointing results of this film at the box office, even though it nearly tripled its budget, it was considered a disappointment, mainly because, at one point this series was making $40 million, $50 million, and then, so they're making money, but they're not making enough money. So that's when Paramount decided to sell Friday the 13th to New Line Cinema. That's why Jason X, all that, Freddy vs. Jason, a New Line logo. Everything. It was the last one produced by Paramount until the 2009 remake, when they got the rights back, or they split them or something, or I don't remember. Or maybe the rights reverted back to them. I'm not sure. All that drama. This series has, the real movie here is the courtroom drama of the rights of it that we're going to see in 10 years with, Tom Hanks as Sean Cunningham or something like that. I don't know. But Lar Park Lincoln, I thought this was really interesting and also kind of silly, not silly, but funny. But she wanted to sign on to reprise her role as Tina from Part 7 in Part 8, but she wanted a higher salary, which I already know the budget was stretched then, so they said no on that. But they decided to rewrite the entire script of Part 8 because she couldn't return because of the budget. But also, she and her husband wrote a treatment for the film. The main guy, I forget his name, from Part 7, also wrote a treatment for the film, none of which were used, obviously, because they went with the guy that did the TV show and then directed episodes of the TV show for this one. Even though the TV show has nothing to do with Crystal Lake. Completely separate. It's a haunted antique store.
Oh.
And it's not called Friday the 13th or anything like that. It's just spooky stories. The original posters for the film featured Jason ripping through an I Love New York poster. Very cool poster. Because, of course, the big catchphrase you see on shirts, the big touristy thing in New York was the I Heart NY shirts and signs and bumper stickers, all that kind of stuff. That's what you'd get when you went there. And then, however, that was considered by the New York Tourism Committee to be a little too violent. So they had to redo it and take them down. So if you have an actual original one, it's one of those Revenge of the Jedi instead of Return of the Jedi posters. Worth, it's worth a chunk of change, I'm sure, to the right person. And I thought this was hilarious when I read it. I did an audible chuckle, is what I'll say. But most of the cast had a Friday the 13th marathon, watching 1 through 7 the day prior to shooting. Cool party. I'd love to come to that party. They were because they were intent on making Part 8 the, quote, best one. Did they read the script before the first day of shooting and think this is going to be the best one?
Here's the poster. It's on Amazon, but it says right here, professional reproduction.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
So
who cares? It's about the image.
Right.
Nobody comes to my house and is that an original? Nobody's going to come to my house and say that, or most people's houses and say that.
Right.
Oh my! In my old house back in Denham, I mean, every wall had a movie poster on it. Oh, is that an original Star Wars poster?
All right.
No. No. It's for decoration.
And they're typically not 24 by 36. Anyway,
That's right.
So.
27 by 40, I believe.
Yeah. I learned that the hard way.
Me too. Trying to get. This is a movie poster size at Walmart.
Nope.
What? What? How? What is this? So yeah, really sucked. Back in the day, too, you finally found the size, and they'd always have like maybe one slot for those cheap ones, 427 by 40, and like as a kid, it was always gone. Yeah. Like you always see the empty slot. Like get your parents bring you to Walmart, whole bunch of 24 by 36 because that's the size of posters that Walmart sold.
Yeah,
and that one little slot never was there.
Nope.
Until many years later when. Finally got
a
whole bunch. Yeah. 1989 was a great year for slashers, especially the classic ones. It was the second year in a row where entries from the three big slasher series. What are those three big slasher series? Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween all had entries. In 88, a year before, you had Friday the 13th Part 7, obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and Halloween 4. In 89, you obviously had 8, 5, and 5. So those were... And that was what a great way to close out the decade horror-wise because, Halloween was 78, but you have all the other series were made in the 80s, and basically those last 2 years, you had some of the best entries and, based on your opinion, some of the best and some of the worst entries, put it to you that way is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Halloween 5, bleh. Nightmare 5. Nightmare is probably the most consistently good one. In terms of like story and there's really not I'd say a horrible, like a Nightmare on Elm Street film that I really just don't like until Freddy's Dead. It's still fun, but it's just so off the wall and different. It doesn't have that tone of the other ones, but Nightmare is pretty solid all the way up to number 5. I'd say Friday is too, but 5 is obviously extremely divisive. And in Halloween, you got part 3, which is super divisive, and then you got part 5, which everybody knows is terrible. When compared to other horror franchises, because they really tried to keep the Halloween series like so, at that point at least, so like very in the tone of the first one, as opposed to the other ones kind of like, Jason's in Manhattan while Michael Myers is returning at that point, or getting his revenge at that point, and Freddy's having a baby. So, the other series, because again, we talked about on the part 4 episode for Halloween was, it was the originator for the most part. I know Black Christmas and Texas Chainsaw came out before it, but in terms of the slasher craze, that's pretty much the catalyst for that. But it was late to the party. It had part 2 in 83, 82. Part 2 in 80, I think in 82, and then part 3 in 83 or 4. And then when part 3 failed, they just said nope. But meanwhile, Fridays, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Oh, Nightmare in 84, boom, 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 boom. Rocking, rolling, all that stuff, And then Mikey Myers was left in the dust till 88. So they should have been on that much quicker. And then,
all right,
who's to say? Because as much as I said the timeline in Friday's convoluted, because this film actually takes place in 2002. If you want to look at it out timeline perspective, made in 89, but takes place in 2002.
Oh, because
of the Fridays are coming out year, nearly every year back to back for the most part, only a couple of exceptions. Mm-hmm. But they're taking place. Some are taking place like days after, but then some are taking place like years after. My sister's missing.
Yeah,
she's been missing for 2 years. Well, we're already now we're already a year ahead of the year we're in from where it's going. So that's how it, gets. It's not meant to take. It's meant to be present, but if you look at the timeline, it's actually a little bit in the future, which is crazy to think about it. During the opening credits for the Times Square, showing Times Square, there's a huge poster for Batman, clearly visible as they were filming it while they were promoting the Tim Burton Batman, which, speaking of cable at the hotel, that movie's been on one channel like almost every day, and I'm loving it. I'm just sitting there, Batman's on, I'll just leave it and, just quoting the whole damn thing. Because it's probably the best movie made in 89, to be honest with you. But anyway, we haven't got to that one yet, I don't think, in my top 10 of 80. Maybe we did. I don't remember. I don't think we did. Anyway, Elizabeth Berkley, yes, Jessie Spano auditioned for the role of Rennie. How great would that have been? I'm so excited. I'm so scared. Perfect.
Just put them together.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess you still could.
I mean, well, had she been in it, that would already exist on YouTube of that mashup of that scene together with it. Now, the Julia Skull character was a holdover from the original script. Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Never mind, sorry. That was something else that I mentioned earlier. But the scene, it was, the boxing scene which we opened the podcast with was originally supposed to take place in Madison Square Garden. That would have been a big set piece, you know.
Wow, yeah.
And again, tongue-in-cheek, the boxing match takes place at Madison Square Garden. The ending was the same. Julius was going to get his head punched off. But when they actually shot the scene, because Kane Hodder's a big, tough guy, and he's got the hockey mask on and, you know, the additional silicone stuff underneath, he pretty much told him to go ahead and go out and actually punch him.
Wow.
So, you know, obviously this sequence is over a minute long, so I'm sure he's not actually punching with, you know, but I'm sure some of those hits are probably real hits.
Probably planned, you know, if he knows he's going
like, I'm going to do a couple of you right now. I mean, but again, Kane Hodder's something, man.
Like
He's had
Rocky, basically.
Yeah. He's had worse. He's had buildings jumped on him, and poor guy was lit on fire and burned half his body.
Yeah, he's doing the Homer Simpson. Just letting the other guy wear out before he just pushes him over. Of course, he does a hard push at the end. As you saw at the top.
A little hard push. But body count, total of...
Let's say... I don't know, New York is a big city. So...
6 million.
Yeah. A quarter of the city. No. Let's go with 15.
You were not over. You were close. So you might have won the Showcase Showdown because it was 20.
Oh, nice.
So pretty high body count for Jason. Oh, Melissa Singh said 17. Oh, you're one of those people that bid right over. You didn't say 16. You said 17.
Yeah, waited for me.
So if you were in the showcase, you must have the first showcase. That's the thing. Yeah. It's always the second person like, $1, Bob.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn you. So Melissa would win the showcase. What did you win? A trip to Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Bring a rocket launcher and body armor or something. I don't know. Bring Freddy, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can fight. Score-wise, again, it's all personal preference. This is a bad movie. Like, as a movie, this is a bad movie. As part of the Friday franchise, it's an enjoyable entry. Would I pick it? What number would I pick it to watch out of all of them? Mm-hmm. 7 or 8.
Wow.
You know, I mean, again, it's not the best, but
pretty far down the list.
But again, I mean, these movies were a flat. Jason Goes to Hell was after this, then X. You know that there's a marked difference between how Part 8 feels and the tone of it to Jason, the next two, which is fine. That's how it should be. But Jason Goes to Hell feels very kind of 90s, has the kind of that 90s aesthetic kind of thing. A lot of guns in it and all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. Jason X, it's in space. You got those early 2000 effects kicking. You know, it's very dated. But the 1 through 8 feel like, yes, back to back to back. These were made in the 80s. These were, they're a cohesive work, so to speak, to where it feels like, okay, I see the evolution of this universe, and then it goes 90s, 2000s. Remake. But so personally, in the terms of the series, I'd give it a 6.5. You know, because again, in the series, putting next to Citizen Kane, Shawshank Redemption, Batman, let's see what they IMDb gave it a 4.6
or 6. Yeah.
I mean, you know, and again, I understand when people hate, like, oh, I cannot even watch that one. That's cool, bro. But I love these. Even the bad ones are still a good time. In all three of the big series, are there some that are really bad? Well, not counting remakes. You know, I feel about those, especially the Nightmare one, the Friday one. That's one I need. I mean, to myself, I was thinking I should watch like the Halloween. Like I should watch them all again just to make after time changes your opinions on things. Mm-hmm. You know, I only saw the Friday one once, Nightmare one once. But again, they left such a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, fuck this. So, I mean, should I watch them? Will I watch them again eventually? Absolutely. I ain't in no hurry. Unless the mood strikes. Or they're all in the hotel room when I get home. Like, okay, might as well, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's serendipitous that this was on at this moment, so I might as well watch it. But again, in closing, this is the 8th film in a franchise. How many? Bond,
Right.
Harry Potter. Well,
Harry Potter made 7, I think.
okay, Harry Potter didn't make it. Well, if you count like the expand, like the.
Right, they split it. The split.
Well, I mean, I'm talking
the
what was it? The Eddie Redmayne, Fantastic Beasts, the spin-off kind of thing.
True.
Same universe, sorta. I mean, that franchise is going on Star Wars, I guess now because they have more. But I mean, how long did that take? This was in a decade. They had 8 movies in a decade. Saw, they had the new one coming out, but in that 2000 period with Saw, I don't know how. I mean, it seemed like it was every year there's a new Saw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was probably and again, it's not my favorite because it's so predictable. It's like, okay, trap, he's the villain, trap. Oh, he is the villain. Oh. Yeah, so predictable. Although, I ain't gonna lie, I want to see the new one. Absolutely. Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
What the fuck? See,
But again,
if they were
going
smart.
into comedy.
Yeah. I mean, if you know this is what you got, Snakes on a Plane. Why was it successful? Not because it was a good movie. It knew exactly that it was going to be a ludicrous movie with Samuel L. Jackson screaming motherfucker as many times as possible. And that's all anybody wanted from that.
Yeah.
Because then we got Pythons on a Train.
Yeah.
The direct-to-video, not sequel, but I watched that and I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but
No Samuel L. Jackson, though, right?
no.
Yeah.
But basically, for some reason, a woman turned into a snake.
What?
Yeah. I don't know.
Pythons on a Train.
Or Snakes on a Train or something
Starring
like
Hulk Hogan.
Brother, you're gonna get off this train.
He's the Python.
He's like,
I'm sick of these brother and snakes on this brother and train, brother.
and then he says a racial slur because
Right.
he's Hulk Hogan now.
They throw him off the
He's
train.
no longer. Well, actually, it's still a good representation of America, unfortunately. Yeah, but if you're listening to the podcast, and I mean, you obviously know that I'm a big fan of 80s horror movies, and you don't like them, you're not going to like this film. I think you should start from part 1 and watch them all. Yeah, that's it. That's the cover, yeah, because it's got the,
Snakes on a Train.
Yep, it's bad. 2.2.
2.2 out of 10. Wow.
Yep. But again, it's one of those,
pretty awful.
It's one of those, yeah, she turns into a snake and then eats the train.
So it's Trains and a Snake.
Yeah, that's the sequel. We gotta get out of this snake. It's like the Poseidon Adventure. We're trapped in this snake in this train. I don't remember why maybe she got bit by some mutant snake. I don't remember. It was bad. Bad.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Sci-fi. I don't think it was a sci-fi. God, that's Jason X effects.
Wow.
Let's not beat around the bush.
They kind of put all the shots in the photo area.
Yeah, we just saved you 90 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I didn't show it, so you might have to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
I got jelly.
That strawberry sandwich exploded out of the toaster. I left the Pop-Tart in too long.
Fake blood in that movie. Ugh.
Yeah, but
Not
anyway.
great.
Yeah, so Friday the 13th Part 8, it's a fun, if you like 80s horror, it's a fun movie. And again, you gotta cut it some slack, people. It's Part 8. It's Part 8 of the same thing happening over and over and over. So they have to do something new. They didn't have the budget to do what they wanted to do. Not that would make it any better.
All right.
It's still, overall,
Would have
it's
been the
still
same movie with different backgrounds.
Yeah, basically, in HD or that's a bad example. Never mind, that's stupid. So first of all, cut it some slack. Appreciate it for what it is, and you have a fine time with it. But again, if you're Martin Scorsese, it's garbage. But if you're, you like, if you're Joe Bob Briggs, it's great.
Yeah,
it's fun. So, in the real world, let's see. Let's do Back to the Future first. So this being the last Friday the 13th movie that we'll ever cover on 80s Revisited. Off the top of my head, like my top, if I had to put them in order of my, okay, let's do it this way. I want to put them in order of what I think the best ones are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just kidding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 6, 2, 3, 4,
6 jumps
7, 5, 8. And the only reason I put 5 low is because I think the weakest part of it is it's the directing. You have a porno director directing it.
Right.
Part 8 with a better director, Part 5 with a better director probably would have been much more respected. It's not badly directed, but I think they needed somebody with a more horror background. Although, of course, 80s porn probably is close to a horror movie, I imagine. And that was just off the cuff. If I really think about it, I probably could change the order on those. But 6 is so well done because because Tom McLaughlin is like, you know what? This is part 6. It's time to have some fun with it. That's why you have the American Express joke, and you have all sorts of other joke. Jason throws a dude's face into a tree, and it's a smiley face. However, 6 is so good because of what it's metaing, and people throw the word metaing around. But part 6 really is, hey, you're watching a Jason movie. We know what you're here for. You're going to have all that. You're going to have some great visuals. You're going to have some fantastic stuff going on. You're going to have an older Tommy Jarvis fighting Jason. You have a great ending. You have some really good visuals. Even you have Horseshack getting his heart ripped out. All sorts of cool stuff. But I would, if somebody hadn't seen one, I would show them part 6. This kind of, this gives you everything that the series is: scary, horror, funny, a little bit of everything, gore, all the stuff, great effects. But to me, in terms of the best ones, the first one, because the first one is so original, and then that ending, you can beat it in other movies, but still, the first time you watch Friday the 13th. I thought there was oh, Jesus Christ! Kid jumps out of the lake. Of course, now everybody knows it, except, Drew Barrymore in Scream. Everybody knows it but her, apparently. The Jason's not the killer in Friday the 13th, the first one. But, they definitely they get better. Like, a lot of them have gotten better with age. But in terms of, the first one was a ripoff of Halloween, but it did it good. You had Savini behind the doing the effects, because Halloween there's practically no gore. So you add the gore factor, you got the bacon factor with Kevin Bacon, all sorts of stuff, and then for a while there the series is hitting on all cylinders for the most part, because that's why it is the iconic slasher series. Yeah. Somebody says slasher movie, most people are probably think, oh yeah, the hockey mask guy. Of course. Educated people. Oh, yes. You mean like Michael Myers or Frederick Krueger.
Frederick.
Like that. There's a wrong answer, but he was the one that. Now, Freddy was in pop culture, but that was late 80s. Because, you didn't get Freddy. I've heard the term thrown around. We'll plug this podcast because it's exceptionally good. It's called Halloweenies. But they covered all the Halloween movies. Then they moved on to Nightmare on Elm Street, kept the name Halloweenies. But now they're actually the same day that we're talking about this Friday, the 13th. They're actually starting Friday the 13th. So if you listen to us, give them a listen and tell them I sent you. Maybe they'll be a guest host on one of their episodes.
There you go.
But anyway, so there's no wrong. If somebody, that's the thing. People are like, oh, you like that one? Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Just saying, they're all,
unless it's 8.
If you like 8, I'm going to shoot you in the face. I'm just saying. I'm sure some people are vehemently opposed to party. There are no Friday the 13th movies after part 4. All right? There's only 4 of them. Now, I understand that thought process because there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But let's be honest. If anybody says that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is their favorite Indiana Jones movie, that person is like
Shia LaBeouf.
is an AI or an alien trying to. Yes, I am a human. I love Crystal Skull. Nobody can say that with a straight face. That is a there are opinions about which Indiana Jones is best, but it is a fact that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is never on that list.
Yep, that was a fever dream he was having.
Absolutely. That was the dream of Han Solo and Carbonite. Like, what is happening? Get me out of here. So, yeah, but...
There's only 2 Home Alones.
Yeah. Honestly, raise your hand if you... Oh, Melissa said that. Oh, yes, and Melissa sings. That's exactly right. Because, let's be honest, who watches anyone other than 1 or 2
Oh, look,
for
recent
Christmas?
News.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, exits? Oh, I think they... No, I'm thinking of something else. I heard.
March 1st, 2020. That was only 10 days ago. Spielberg exits Indiana Jones 5. no longer directing it. Huh.
Wait, because following actor Harrison Ford calling U.S. President Donald Trump a son of a bitch, possibly alienating millions of conservative Indiana Jones fans. Oh my God. Oh my God.
He could have done a favor for the series, though, given what his 4 was like.
I mean, absolutely. I'm fine with him leaving. Let's see somebody else do it.
Right.
Apparently, you're done with it.
Yeah.
Let's see somebody else do it.
They're going to give it to JJ like everything else.
Sure. I'm on board.
Yeah.
He knows how to handle nostalgia.
Yeah.
There's too much nostalgia. That's kind of what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want to have a good time.
Yeah. And Rise of Skywalker, I'm sitting there, tears welling up half the movie. Everybody, oh God, they're referencing that. You know, and, you know, of course, you can nitpick any movie. It doesn't matter. But for that 2 hours in that theater, nothing else mattered in the world. Zombie outbreak could have been happening and didn't give a shit. Little, you know, 10-year-old Trey was sitting there watching the end of the Skywalker saga. And I couldn't have been happier. Unless Darth Maul popped out. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be stupid. But anyway, best Jasons. Like I said before, my personal favorite was always, as a child, was always Kane Hodder. A lot of people like C.J. Graham because he's very from Part 6 because he's a Marine, so he's like very like, and he put that into the character to where like he would move very mechanically. I didn't, you know, not my cup of great Jason in my favorite Friday the 13th film, but not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Ted White, Part 4, and Starman, and numerous other films, still alive and kicking at 90 plus, I believe. You know, he's very threatening. You know, he's very spooky and intense as Jason. But you know, the one that scared me as a kid, that just somebody says Jason Voorhees, I think of Kane Hodder standing there coming out of the lake in Part 7.
Yeah.
So, and then let's be honest, Friday the 13th series was notorious for its gorgeous women and gratuitous nudity. And much like the music video that you introduced me to, Wolfie's Just Fine, Just Fine, New Beginning, Deborah Voorhees was probably always the one that stuck out to me. So that was a lame attempt at a penis joke. Stuck up. And she's actually making a fan film. I say a fan film, but it's like something fan film / unique film called like 13 Fanboy or something like that, with like other like horror actors and all that. Yeah, she's the one that gets the garden shears in the eyeballs and then snips the nasal cavity. Horrific kill, but damn, she looked good doing it. And then Chris from Part 3 was really pretty. That's the thing, you know, like these films also, you know, they had. You know, the trope of the final girl is a trope, but, you know, it's not the big, strong dude that kills or stops Jake. Well, in Part 6, he does. In 7, Corey Feldman hacks him up. Speaking of Corey Feldman, more in Back to the Future in just a few seconds. You know, so, I mean, you know, the horror, you know, like, oh, it's, you know, they're disrespectful to women because they show tits and all that. And, yeah, I mean, I understand that point, but the woman won.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and I'm not saying that people are wrong for saying that, but I mean, like, there have been, because I grew up, I've said it before, with, you know, Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor. Two of the biggest badasses of all time. You know, they could have been in the Expendables. You know, I mean, they didn't have to have...
Paving the way.
Nothing against Ronda Rousey, but I mean, like, we need more strong women in movies. Sure, absolutely, sure. But let's not say that disrespecting all the ones that have come before. Pamela Grier and the blaxploitation films. I mean, there's been a lot of them, and it just seems when people tangent again. Sorry, woo, 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 woo. You know, it just seems to me that some of the fantastic characters and performances get like forgotten in that. But anyway, in the real world, July 28th, 1989 is when it came out. 2 days prior, on July 26th, a federal grand jury indicts Cornell University student Andy Bernard. No, just kidding. Robert Tappan Morris for releasing a computer virus, making him the first person ever to be prosecuted under the United States 1986 Computer Fraud and Abuse Act.
A virus that long ago. Wow.
it just like pops up and says, ha, ha, ha. It makes your computer run slow. I don't know. Or like,
You had to physically go there and put the put the disc
he's like in
in.
a disguise.
Yeah.
That's a floppy drive sound, children. And then it spits it out. But anyway, that was in the real world. And going back to the Future, because that was some of the Friday series. A couple of notable things recently as far as 80s movies go. I was absolutely... It wasn't shocking, but I was still shocked to see that Max von Sydow died. Because motherfucker's ancient.
Yeah.
Not 90, but I mean, he's been in everything. He was Ming in Flash Gordon. The Exorcist. I quote him all the time because he... With all be like, oh, you'd kiss the little monster goodnight, and always go, she's always a princess to me. Quoting him from Force Awakens. I mean, huge career. He was the devil in Needful Things in the 90s. Fantastic voice, amazing actor. Such a shame to lose him. Because it's funny, because he had to wear old age makeup in The Exorcist. And that's how he looked now. It's like, so he's like Steve Martin. Steve Martin looks exactly the same now as he did in my childhood, aside from Little Shop of Horrors, when he actually had the black hair. But everything else, he always had the white hair, so he always seemed like he was the same age. Max von Sydow looks, you see him in The Exorcist as a kid, and that's how he looked for the rest. He looks younger in other things after that, but then as obviously as everybody ages, gets older. But very sad loss. Fantastic storied career, great character actor, great actor, period. Super memorable roles. I mean, quoted all over the place. Body of Christ, I forgot the goddamn line. Power of Christ. God, Jesus. The power of Christ compels you. Brain fart.
That's what I thought you were going with it.
That's what I was trying to remember. And then, an actor of his caliber in Flash Gordon, he brought villainy to that role.
Right.
He had a Strange Brew, which has been requested on the podcast. We haven't got to yet.
I was going to say.
But, I mean, he's one of those actors, whenever you watch a movie, all of a sudden he shows up, like, oh, shit, Max von Sydow. Judge Dredd, the original with Sylvester Stallone. He was the judge that went on his long walk. I mean, the man's done almost everything. I think he's been Jesus. He's been the devil. He's done everything. Did everything. Now, whenever you see an actor's picture pop up on your Facebook feed, especially if they're old, the first thing that goes through my mind, at least, is like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because people posted a recent picture of Sean Connery a couple weeks ago, and my heart dropped. So I thought Sean Connery died, which, I mean, everybody dies, but it's still, it's like, and the kids, the older you get, when the people whose movies you grew up on, when they start getting old and dying, that's when it really, it's like, oh man, like, and I'm not talking about tragic stuff like Christopher Reeve, from it succumbing to his injuries, years later and all that kind of stuff, or River Phoenix dying of a drug overdose young. No, I mean, like, Max von Sydow, story career. Kirk Douglas, story career, died not long ago, although I do definitely believe he raped Natalie Wood. Hot take. Melissa's thing, Betty White. I mean, there's so many who, like, like, people post a meme of Betty White doing something. It's like, oh God, no, no. Oh, thank God. Oh, it's just somebody just posting a picture of Betty White for some reason and making everybody freak out. Same thing with Tim Curry. Like people post that a meme like, I judge people by the whatever movie they know Tim Curry from, but I don't read. I just see his picture. I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
It's a good way to troll people.
Absolutely.
Just put a picture of Betty White and say, never forget that one episode of Golden Girls. a tiny font.
No, that's genius, but you do it, to where, like, because Facebook shrinks or cuts off the picture, you do it to where when you tap on it,
never forget.
That's what it says.
And then
so it's like,
at the very bottom.
Genius.
There
Copyright Jesse Sedgley, age visited 2020.
If only you could copyright memes.
If only. You just gotta be the person in the meme, then you get to be on Tosh.0 once. And
that's true.
That's about it. That's how far.
Don't really make any money off of that.
And speaking of Friday, one of the actors in Friday who's always spoken about wanting to come back to it and appeared in several documentaries on it was Corey Feldman, who, as of this recording, as we're recording this last night around this time, was supposed to release his documentary, Plagued by Hackers. apparently it's released now, but where he said he was going to name the people who sexually abused him and Corey Haim, of which, spoiler alert, it's all over the internet anyway, Charlie Sheen and some other dudes. However, tying it back to Friday, in Friday the 13th Part 5, if you remember in the beginning, there's the fat kid eating the chocolate bar, ruining the sheets with his chocolate-covered hands. He's one of the people that Corey Feldman names.
Wow.
So another Friday tie-in. Sort of a Freaky Friday. Which remake starred Jamie Lee Curtis, who was Laurie Strode in Halloween.
Oh.
Whoa.
Bringing it all together.
Whoa. It's all together. I'm Jim Carrey, the number 23. I cannot stand like when people say, "Oh, it's got four numbers. It's got the letter. It's got the number 7 in it. 4 plus 3 is 7. 43 is the year he was born." Like, yeah, math works. You can use math for anything.
Yep.
God, that movie was dumb. And every time I see numerology. Oh, you were born in 1980. Well, let's see. 19
plus 8 is 27.
Plus 8 is that, and then 27 minus 80 is this, which is the number of hope, or whatever bullshit. It's right. Sorry if you believe that. My opinion is you're a quacker. That's just my opinion. Anyway, the documentary is apparently out now, so Corey Feldman gets a whole bunch of shit because of. And I see why. I see how you watch him all, you see his performance on Good Morning America and all that. But, in this age where people are like, oh, this kid was bullied, we have to step up and stop it. Okay, yes, absolutely. But you know how you do that? By not bullying people like that. Yeah. But apparently, that's the great paradox of humanity. And that's what the end credit scenes of Deadpool 2. Hitler as a baby. Oh, you're a baby. Can't kill a baby. You haven't done anything yet.
Right.
But I know what you're going to do. But not. I can't kill you just yet. Right. I can't. You're too cute. You're still a baby. But so the question is, at what age is it okay to bully people? Because adults do it all the time to other adults. And then if it's racially motivated, then it's a hate crime. There are certain dividing lines in terms of that, but Corey Feldman got, on blast on, so like, oh, look at this loser, blah blah blah. Like, there was no need for that. Yeah. That was just mean. That was mean spirited and everything. But then they bring him back on, let him perform again. Now let's be honest. It was definitely different. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't. You don't have to go and make the dude's life a living hell. Like, oh, and people do this all the time. The Rose Tron from. The recent Star Wars, the last 2 Star Wars films, people were picking on her because they didn't like her character and stuff like that online. Yes.
So we show this a lot.
Yep. Any long-term fans of the podcast know exactly what this is. The greatest song ever written by a person named Corey, who's not Corey Taylor, right, from Slipknot, Ascension Millennium.
Yeah. We're not playing it through the speakers very loud right now, so.
But you need to go to YouTube and watch it because it's fantastic. It's an earworm song. He does and then all these women come forward with the Me Too and all that. Absolutely, if somebody did something wrong, no matter what the gender, who they did it to, they deserve to, get whatever. Weinstein's going to Rikers. Mm-hmm. These people need to be locked up. These are predators. These are child predators. You watch, it's To Catch a Predator. Yeah. With Chris Hansen. Hey, have a seat.
Hansen. Yeah.
Hey, oh, where you going? Have a seat. Hey guys, have a seat.
Go ahead and eat your pizza.
Yeah. Oh, come on. What's in the bag? Let's have a drink.
Yeah.
These people are dangerous. They're in. Not even. Let me take Ben Wyatt's advice. Let me take a step off the soapbox a little bit, not climb it high and higher. So but when we're in a society too where somebody who's been ridiculed, like Corey Feldman, as an adult. Same thing with Michael Jackson, where me personally, I don't buy a lot of the abuse stuff with Michael Jackson personally. Yeah. I've seen all the documentaries. Something seems a little fishy about all of them, because you have people like Corey Feldman, like Macaulay Culkin, who say, we spend the night all the time, nothing happened. Now, they would have no reason not to say anything. Corey Feldman did not name Michael Jackson. Yeah. Now, was it possible that Michael Jackson did something? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever know that.
If he wanted the publicity, he could have said it. and got tons of it, but he didn't.
Yeah, because, does that mean that it didn't happen to these other kids? No, not necessarily.
Yeah, just didn't happen to him.
When I watched the video, the documentaries about Michael Jackson, like the Leaving Neverland, I'm like, this seems very... Something's off about it.
Right.
To me. A lot of people, say, making a murderer. It's how you make... When it comes to documentaries, they're going to make you... They're going to lead, and make... I'm like, oh, like the blood... Oh, they did take the blood. That... And then
it's about how you tell the story.
Yeah. And they tell it, and people are like, free this man. Free this man. Bro... Read the actual facts out there. The dude's guilty as fuck. That was such a biased documentary, but that's how the world works these days. History is written by the victors. People, Corey Feldman has a cringeworthy performance on Good Morning America. He's all drugged out and he's just crazy. Blah blah blah. Well, he's saying that these people sexually abused him and Corey Haim as children. Mm-hmm. Could it be false? Absolutely. Could it? But also, the same propensity means it could be true. But it just gets ridiculed. Now, of course, now I ain't gonna lie, you had to pay $20 to watch the documentary on live. Like it was like a pay-per-view thing. So I'm not stupid. I can see that, but I don't know. I haven't watched it. I can't say for sure. But he's so messed up. Yeah. That's what happens to victims of abuse.
Yeah.
Whether it was the people he named or not. You hear it all the time. Like, people, and then other people are like, oh yeah, Hollywood's full of pedophiles. That Corey Feldman guy, what a liar. The flu kills 6 million people a year. But coronavirus killed 8 people in California. Let me wash my hands. Telling you right now.
Let me get some toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now. The flu deaths after the announcement of the coronavirus are going to be marked like. Huge decrease in flu deaths because people wash their fucking hands.
Right.
2%. That's how many people who get coronavirus die.
Yeah.
10% of the people get the measles die for you anti-vaxxers. Sorry if you're an anti-vaxxer listening. I don't believe you. So, just saying, go listen to some other podcasts. Don't want you here. Don't buy that pseudoscience.
Yep.
And believe me, my mom is full of pseudoscience. Love her to death. Like, did you get your essential oils or take this elderberry stuff? There's no evidence for that, right, Mom? But I feel better. Hey, if you feel better doing it, by all means.
Right.
Oh, do the gummies taste good? Tastes like chalk. And I take Tums every night before I go to bed, so I know what chalk tastes like. But anyway, just in all seriousness. I haven't seen the documentary, but I absolutely want to. I love a good documentary. Mm-hmm. And, Corey Feldman, there's obviously, I'm not saying he's crazy. I'm not saying that, but you can tell that he's seen some shit. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see what he has to say. Same thing with the Leaving Neverland documentary. I didn't, I went in open-minded. At the end of it, I don't buy it. And not that it matters because OJ was let off by a jury of his peers, but Michael Jackson was not convicted in 2 cases. And several of the accusers later admitted that it was fake. So again, does not mean nothing happened. But based on the facts, that's my observation on that. Same with Corey Feldman. I think I absolutely believe they were abused. Now, was it Charlie Sheen raping Corey Haim? I can't say I wasn't there. Wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Maybe. But the stories that you hear, the Richard, like in Scream, the Richard Gere gerbil story and all that,
those are fake.
Probably. But they had, there's always a little truth of something.
Right. What happened to make that
because everybody heard that. That's why she says it. That was a big thing in Hollywood rumor. Richard Gere got brought to the ER because he had a gerbil trapped in his butt because, you put the pipe up your butt and you let gerbils run in and out. And in fact, you find a gerbil in Mr. Slay's ass in the first South Park game. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. Right. You go into Mr. Slay's ass in the South Park video game. In one of the most unexpected levels of all time. Couldn't stop laughing, though. But I did, despite moving and everything, I did get to see a couple of things. The Charlie's Angels reboot, remake, reimagining. It wasn't terrible.
Oh.
I'll be honest, that's the first film that I've seen Kristen Stewart in from start to finish. Much like, now, it was not as good as The Lighthouse, which was the first film I saw her Twilight co-star, Robert Pattinson, in from start to finish. Honestly, it felt very 90s. It was, some of the action was actually pretty decent. Elizabeth Banks is not a bad action director, but it's very, it goes that heavy-handed political kind of route briefly. It's not like the whole movie, but like they got to hit you with that at some point, and that took me out of it. Not that I wasn't expecting, not that it made the movie. That's not why the movie's a 4.4 on IMDb. I would say it's a 4.4. I'd give it a 5. I watched it from start to finish, and I was like, okay. Never going to watch it again, but I didn't turn it off. Kristen Stewart actually. Now, warning, I'm going to say the S word. She's smiling in the movie a lot.
Okay.
Now, again, I have never seen her in anything except the movie posters for Twilight where she's like, just very blank face. Like, and I always heard, there's always the joke around meme, like, Kristen Stewart doesn't know how to smile and stuff like that. Not in the way that the dude tells Brie Larson that she should smile more in Captain Marvel. You understand? It was a whole big joke that, Kristen Stewart doesn't have range and all that because she makes the same face all the time.
In that one movie.
Yeah, which I've never seen, so I can't say. But this is the first film that I've seen her in from start to finish. I was like, she's actually pretty, like, I don't see what the problem is with her. She has some range. She seems pretty cool. Unlike, what my impression was just like, Edward. Thus ends my extent of the Twilight knowledge of the Twilight series. But anyway, it was, it was along the same lines as the Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, just mindless fun. It was entertaining. Patrick Stewart's in it. Didn't know that. I was like, oh shit, yeah. Here's my complaint with it, and everybody will pick this up. The twist, you see it in the first 5 seconds.
Right.
The second it's like, oh, this is happening, I know exactly how this movie's going to go.
Was it something like a GoldenEye situation?
Basically.
Yeah, I figured. I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah. Here. Okay, let me tell you. What do you think is going to happen in this situation? Angels go on a mission. Patrick Stewart comes in. Good job, Angels. Let's meet up for our next mission. Next mission. Oh, I'm retiring. It's been great. See ya. There's this strange person controlling all this thing, killing people. We have to stop this thing.
It's him.
No! 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 Who's in the box? It's me, Patrick Stewart. Sir Patrick Stewart. It's just like it's like, okay, he's like, and then they try to play it off. Which, had they played it off, and that was true, what happens? They try to twist it in the middle. Again, blatantly obvious that it's not. Oh, now, yeah, this just cements everything that I thought from the first 5 minutes.
Right.
But had Elizabeth Banks, had she maybe gone that route, might have got a little more traction as opposed to nobody wants to see this movie. You're right. Nobody wanted to see a Charlie's Angels movie. That's exactly right. That franchise has no traction. It did in 98, 90, 2001, when the two came out.
Yeah.
So, but nobody was like, God, you know what we need? We need another Charlie's Angels. Nobody said that. That's why it failed. Again, I watched it. It's not a bad movie. If you if you want a nostalgic kind of 90s action-esque film, give it a shot.
Budget
Absolutely.
$48 million, gross in US 17, nearly 18. Cumulative worldwide, they at least made budget back at 71.
No, there's not going to be a sequel.
Oh no!
But the leads were all great. The one of the girls is the one that was I forget her name, but she was the Pink Ranger in the Power Rangers movie, recent one, and Jasmine in the Aladdin live action. So, yeah, I mean it's not terrible. Like I said, worth about watching. The controversy is completely unwarranted because it's just I could have watched this movie and told you it's not going to make money.
Yeah,
because nobody wants it. If it was Powerpuff Girls or something like on that 90s nostalgia train. And it had that same movie, but they had their little uniforms or whatever. I've never seen Powerpuff Girls. I'm just using that as an example. Might have doubled his budget. Because the coat of paint is what mattered on this. The story in the movie, run of the mill, but well done in terms of the acting, like I said, directing, the action wasn't bad. But it's not. Nobody wanted to see a new Charlie's Angels. That is the deal. Nobody cared. We're in the age of Marvel and Star Wars. Well, we were, but then like I said, we said that already. Whatever. But also, speaking of movies that didn't make their money back, Gemini Man with Will Smith and William Smith. I was shocked that Ang Lee directed it. Now, the action sequences, very good. Clive Owen pops up in it. Love Clive Owen. Underused, underrated actor. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's in it. My heart. She's actually she's actually dating Hugh McGregor.
Oh.
They're a couple. Lucky son of a bitch. Always had the biggest crush on her since way back in the day. She's always fantastic actress, but beautiful on top of it. Most actresses are, don't get me wrong, but she's always been a fan favorite for me. But just, and the de-aging effects, I still have not seen The Irishman because it is 3 hours long. I'm in the middle of moving and all that fun stuff. So I can't speak on those effects, the aging. But in this movie, it's straight up like Resident Evil 2 PS4 cutscene, Will Smith.
It's not good?
No. I mean, if it was a video game starring Will Smith, perfectly fine. But you cannot have this face talking to these real people because it looks ridiculous. It's like I'm talking to a PlayStation game character.
Well, I think our effects, whenever we show videos on here, we add a lot of 80s effects. I think that'll help it.
It might look better. It might look good. But it looks bad. And I'm not one to, honestly, an effect has to be really bad. See, that doesn't look that bad right there. The plastic, the graininess and the plasticness of it.
Right.
Or the graininess hides, that uncanny valley sheen, like that fake film over it, so to speak. Just get his son.
Yeah.
But it has. I mean, he's a clone. Spoiler alert. But I mean, again, the plot necessarily isn't bad. The action's good, but it's just, it's way too. The setup is way too long, and it kind of plods a bit. The pacing is off. And it tries to be funny, but it's not funny. Will Smith making jokes about his younger self, it doesn't work. So
they took the worst part of Logan and stretched it out to a movie.
Basically. Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. Again, the action's good. It's basically Deadshot. He's just being Deadshot from the aforementioned Suicide Squad from earlier. Will Smith's fine. He's still a good actor. This scene's a good scene to show when his emotion in it. He works. Again, the first 30 minutes are boring as hell. Just they're trying to set up too much when they could have smelled. They could have set it up much simpler and quicker. This is a sci-fi action movie, but the sci-fi aspect is simply the fact that we cloned him. It's not saying anything about humanity, or it's not Blade Runner. It's not Children of Men. There's nothing to say in it. It's just there's a old Smith versus young Smith.
What would happen if?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. And again, the effects are just so bad for the younger Will Smith. Then they could have done better. They could have prosthetics on Jaden Smith, something. Joseph Gordon, like Looper. That was Looper, right?
Yeah.
They gave him the fake nose. So, did he look exactly like young Bruce Willis? No.
Yeah.
But they gave him his hairline. They gave him the nose. It worked for knowing that this is the younger version of him. Right. As opposed to, I was not taken out of that movie by the effects.
Yeah.
I was taken, every time they showed a gunfight, cool. And then all of a sudden this PlayStation character, all of a sudden it's a PlayStation cutscene. No. Again, it's middle of the road. It's not bad. If you like action and sci-fi, it's worth watching once, but you will never watch it again. It's not Will Smith's best. It's not Mary Elizabeth's best. It's not Ang Lee's best. And Ang Lee knows what he's doing, like in terms of telling a story.
That young version moves like
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like a Resident Evil cutscene.
Like he's the tune from Roger Rabbit.
Me, William. But I'm about to say something I forgot. But
it was way too fast, way too weird.
I mean, this is the director that brought us Life of Pi, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
And this is subpar. Granted, he also brought us The Hulk with Eric Bana, which I think has its both merits and completely horrific things. But yeah, Gemini Man was not. It was. I mean, honestly, like I was closer to. I almost would have turned it off until it finally got to some action and picked up, as opposed to Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels more exciting than this film. Now, of course, if I didn't know that and I saw both of the posters and had to pick one, I picked Gemini Man. Not because of any kind of the sex of the characters on the cover, but I like science fiction. And there's not enough science fiction in this. There's no like debate on, he's a clone, he deserves to, he doesn't deserve to die, or they lightly touch on it like in a sentence, and then it's just like, that's it. Like there's, The Sixth Day with Arnold had a bigger debate about like the ethics of cloning people and stuff like that. Now, was that necessarily what this film was going for? I guess not. Was it just an excuse? Was it? I mean, it really just seems like here's an action movie. We need a hook, and the hook is that Will Smith's fighting his younger version. But the one studio exec, didn't Bruce Willis do that like 4 years ago?
Throw him out the window.
Yeah, it's Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder. Punch this guy in the face. And then throw him out this window.
What a great movie that was.
Oh yeah, God, they don't make him like that was such a breath of fresh air. Just
Couldn't be made today.
Yeah, absolutely. When we see something like that again on that level.
Right. Well, there's too much in that movie that would have been like, oh, you can't make that. You can't say that.
It happened at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came in. Here's the door shutting on the movie.
Yeah, I was
and
watching,
not just the blackface thing. It was
right. Well, I was watching the Robert Downey Jr. interview with Joe Rogan, and he was like, "They didn't even give me flack for that. They all got on the Simple Jack thing."
Yeah,
he's like, he dodged a bullet.
Well, like you said, because Simple Jack went full retard.
Yeah,
so he got the flack.
Yeah,
you never go full retard.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't even, now that movie was made today, couldn't even say that word.
Yeah,
So, but anyway. It sure was fun talking face to face with you one last time for a little while.
Yep.
And all y'all on YouTube and everything.
It'll be a while.
We'll be catching a plane tomorrow, so there will be a delay before the next episode. I would like to start Bond on the next one, but again, I got to get moved in. I still got a couple of movies. A couple of movies to catch up to do it chronologically.
Right.
To catch up on, so that might work right into the timetable of when we get one going, or it might not. Excuse me, and we'll just throw something else on in the meantime. But the plan is hopefully this time. Let's see. I need to get your calendar. This time next week, we'll most of our stuff hopefully we'll kind of be getting settled. So we have that week, and then autumn starts the week after that. Her job. We kind of get in our flow, so to speak, and then that would so hopefully within about 2 weeks we'll have something.
Yeah.
So if not, it'll be shortly after that because just gotta get kind of settled and get like a nice little backdrop. Something. Not that we have to have that, but I'd like I'd like
get it later.
I want to get it organized to where like I have my
somewhere.
My desk, even just just like you have like there, just a shelf or something behind.
Yeah.
Just
it's something to decorate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So working on it. We'll get it done. But I will come back now. You hear Melissa Singh says. But anyway, watch out for hockey mask. People wearing hockey masks on Friday the 13th.
Yep.
So
they're coming. Especially if you're in
already
Manhattan.
be here. Yeah.
Stay home and wash your hands.
The coronavirus has a hockey mask on it. It's just sitting on the sink like. Yeah, just wash your hands, people.
Yeah.
If you get stuck inside, you don't, just, in fact, my friend told me, he said, if I ran a toilet paper, I just got my shower. Most places have the shower next to in the same vicinity as a toilet.
Yeah.
Just take the shower head. If you have the shower head on the hose, you get your own bidet. Just good to go. That's how they do it in Europe. You don't need toilet paper. We existed long before toilet paper.
It's true.
And again, I don't know.
It's a weird one.
I think I can't remember if we were talking about it earlier or not, but I know you mentioned it. But I think it's because people think that they might get quarantined in their house. And so they're buying water and toilet paper.
I have a sink that has water. But that's weird. Hey, Sean, the coronavirus is going to slam you. I mean, it's going to slam, what, 60%? Yeah, I've heard that schools are starting to get canceled now.
And again, hot take. It's fear-mongering.
Of course.
This is being blown so far out of proportion. Guess what, people? You know what 2020 is? An election year.
Yeah.
So don't worry. In a couple of weeks, it's gone. It's like, the cases have dropped. It's just one person now. It's a Chinese bioweapon. No, if they were going to make a bioweapon, people would be dying all over the place.
Right.
I would be.
It'd be way more effective.
Yes. Yes, Jesse. We're talking today remotely.
Yeah.
One way or another, everything's Trump's fault. So, responded to Sean Way on here. Whoever the president is, no matter what their party is, when something happens, that's what I'm talking about. Because my mom, she's a woman, obviously, because she's my mother. Duh.
Mom,
but my
my
mom supports Trump, and we always have the discussion. He basically thinks you're just a walking, pardon my French on this, taco stand because you're a woman.
Right.
Now, has every single thing he done in office been like the worst thing ever? No. Let's be honest here. Let's
a lot
be
of
real.
controls in place.
Yes. Has he done some really stupid things and said some stupid things and talked about doing policies that are horrible? You're right, Sean. Of course, he doesn't hate women. He loves women.
Yeah.
He absolutely loves them. Hold on, Ben. I hear Ben from Australia. Get off your soapbox, mate. Let me step down. I'm not kicking it under the table. But the point is, bottom line, it don't matter who's in power because politics in America is a pendulum.
Yeah.
Because we need a third party. We need more than just left or right because that's what's forcing things because it's going to swing to the left and all the right's going to be pissed off. Then it's going to swing back to the right, and all the left's going to be pissed off. And guess what the left's saying when the pendulum's over here? The same things the right people were saying when the pendulum was over here, except for that guy. Mm-hmm. It's just, and the thing is, even with a third party, there's still no perfect candidate. Mm-hmm. But at least there's a third option.
Yeah.
At least there's somebody like, okay, no, I voted in the last election. I voted third party. Did I have a candle in hell that I was going to win? Nope.
Yep.
But I voted for a candidate who, win or lose, knew she wasn't going to win. I voted for Jill Stein. I knew it, but I didn't vote for, who was it that ran against him? I didn't vote for Trump, and I didn't vote for...
Hillary?
Oh, Hillary, yeah. Well, because the big conspiracy now on the right is that Biden's going to get the nomination. Everybody knows he's about to die and he's got dementia and all this stuff. So he's going to have Hillary as his running mate. So it's all a plan to get Hillary into the White House. That's the current theory I heard.
Wow.
So my horse in the presidential race was Tulsi Gabbard. Because she's gorgeous. Just kidding. I'm not kidding. She is pretty. Don't get me wrong, but she's a military veteran. I liked a lot of her stuff that she had to say and all that.
She's still in it at like 3% or something.
Yeah. But the thing I like about her is that, sorry, Ben. Jesse, I'm smashing the soapbox.
Smash.
No more American politics talk
because we've never really dove into that.
Yeah. And again, I like to talk
from the 80s. I just want to talk about Reagan and.
Yeah. See, well, Reagan. Because we grew up under Reagan was the president.
88 to 92?
80 to 88.
Oh wait.
George Bush Senior
was
for his 4 years.
Right.
But I've said this before. Of course, I'm about to move literally 30 minutes away from Ronald Reagan's Presidential Museum, which I've been to many times. But I've been to Nixon's, HW's, just W's, because it's next to Dallas. When we were over there, when you were there for the board game convention, we were there for the U2 concert.
Yeah.
And Reagan's several times. Reagan's is the best in terms of visuals because it's just a huge facility.
Right.
I mean, it's a great museum. And as a kid, I always loved Ronald Reagan. Like, he's the president, when I remember coming home from school because we got let out because the Challenger exploded and we watched it live on television. And like, what happened here? You know, what's going on? And then he gives that, his nickname was the Great Orator because he could he could deliver a speech.
Yeah.
He was an actor, Trey. The actor! The quote Doc Brown, But one of the biggest things you got to fault Reagan on was that in the 80s, you had speaking of actual plague, so to speak, you had the rise of HIV, which when HIV became apparent, nobody knew what it was. It was only affecting gay men. So everybody in power were like, I don't care. That's a fact. And then and then you have little Ryan White. Poor little Ryan White contracts HIV from blood transfusion. I believe he's a hemophiliac. All of a sudden, a white child gets HIV, and everybody is just like today with the coronavirus. Like, I remember my parents telling me, or my mom telling me, like, when we go to the mall, you pad that toilet seat. You pad that toilet seat. It wasn't. You can't get it. Now again, at the time, nobody knew how people were getting it.
Yeah.
People were, in the gay community, people were scared, and rightfully so. There's horror stories of watching people watching their friends die, and there's nothing nobody could do, and just like waste away because of this disease. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, now it's not a death sentence. People are Magic Johnson, Jesus Christ.
There were 2 cases cured this week, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the second ones ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, another conspiracy theory: the government's just sitting on the cure for cancer and AIDS and all that.
If
Sean,
you can think it, someone else thought it
absolutely
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Sean White says what do you think of Ronald Reagan's obsession with astrology? I've always heard that. I love to talk conspiracy theories, but I haven't delved into it enough to have any opinion on it, except I don't believe in astrology.
Right.
Oh, the Mercury's in retrograde, so I better sleep an extra hour and be nice, or light this candle facing this, whatever the bullshit is.
Right.
I don't buy it. Again, if anybody does, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't expect people to agree with things I agree with, the flying spaghetti monster religion, whatever, I think it's called that, or whatever it is. The guy that has the count, whatever, it's on his driver's license because he made the religion so he can wear the strainer or whatever on his head for his driver's license picture. Genius. That's the kind of people we need in this country.
All right. Hey, you don't have to agree with Trey.
Absolutely. It's more
Jason Lives isn't as good as he says.
Well, everybody has to, in this day and age, what makes, their podcasts I listen to were I get bored with, even though I like them, but when they're talking about something and I'm agreeing with everything they say, it's just like, I'm not getting anything new.
Right.
That's why, one of the challenges for this podcast is there's a ton of 80s podcasts out there. Yeah. For most of these movies, maybe not some of the random ones that we do now, because we've done 99% of the big ones. This is a big one. Again, hundreds of people have talked about Friday the 13th Part 8. All I've really given you is my personal experiences with it and thoughts on it. Anybody that watched the Crystal Lake documentary probably didn't learn anything new except, oh wow, Trey was scared of that standee too. That shit was terrifying. Yeah. Or whatever. Oh, I didn't think about the eye thing. That's actually really, that's a good point. But what I'm getting at is that it's more fun to talk to somebody who disagrees with you than agrees with you. Let me say, it's more fun if you're willing to listen to that person, because too many people in this world are like, oh yeah, and all of a sudden I voted for Trump. What? And all of a sudden people don't talk, and vice versa. I voted for Hillary. What? People are trigger warnings. But when you talk movies, games, all this stuff, it's so much fun That's why originally I wanted the podcast to be, and it was me and Daniel. Daniel had never seen these movies before.
Yeah.
I had. So I'm coming from the perspective of this movie belongs in the goddamn Louvre and should be a national treasure. And Dan's like, I kind of liked it. It was all right, Perspective. Because now this will never happen, but somebody who hates Jaws, they might bring up something I've never thought of before as to why they hate it. Not going to change how I feel about the movie.
Yeah.
But like...
Because opinions are opinions.
That's interesting. That's like if I see other, the Badly Awesome Movies podcast that our friend Ben is on. They've covered some movies that I've seen that I like, but it's done in, I'm so sorry, Ben, I forgot the co-host name on that one. I can hear his voice. I can't think of his name. Oh, we hated this movie. It was terrible. I'm thinking, I liked it, but then like, okay, I completely understand why Ben doesn't like it, or I hate that movie too, but he liked it. You have to understand your opinions, and you can't. That's what separates a sheep from a wolf, so to speak. That's a general analogy, but you get the point. If somebody says like, I hate Jaws, and they can tell me why they hate it, as opposed to, I just don't like shark movies. That's not a reason. Why, whether you like shark movies or not, Jaws is a masterpiece. Gangster movies are not my favorite movies. I don't like, the new gangster movie's out, I want to go see it. But Goodfellas is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I usually don't like drama films. That's not my favorite genre. But Moonlight, fantastic. Like, what a great movie. I think, most Best Picture winners are dramas for the most part, usually, historically, or historical dramas. Most of those I don't go see until they win Best Picture. Except nowadays, because movies are available so readily, I try to see all of them. Ford versus Ferrari. Like, not my kind of movie. Don't like racing. Don't give a shit about cars. Unless they're, have a ghost with a band symbol over it, or a bat symbol. Or they're a DeLorean going through time. But, it's nominated for Best Picture. I'll check it out. It's all right. Had it been nominated for Best Picture, I still wouldn't have seen it. Well, I might have seen it eventually because of Christian Bale.
Right.
Or, an actor, this actor's doing this movie or whatever. I want to see it. But anyway, about opinions is that, this podcast probably would have, not that I'm complaining, but, this podcast went from, a movie virgin, movie expert, quote unquote, talking about beloved films and how somebody today interprets a film or thinks of a film that's treasured by millions who grew up with it, and somebody who didn't grow up with it, as now opposed to me either gushing, going off on tangents, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we and I recognize that. I think we did lose a little something. I still think the podcast is enjoyable. I still love talking about it. Jesse brings me back down to something, or are we talking like, and you'll mention something like, that's a great point. So we still have a dynamic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But it's always better. You will be smarter. You will learn better argumentative discourse by talking to people, not
right.
A-hole, loser,
anonymously.
Yeah, keyboard warrior. But when you talk to people, actually talk to them about, it's something like, I get every now and then I get in a good discussion in the Joe Bob Briggs fan group I mentioned before, like, because they'll go on tangent, it'll have like cycles, like all of a sudden everybody's hating on Midsommar. I'm like, I kind of liked it, and like, no, I liked it, blah, blah, dot. Oh yeah, like, I could see that. And like, did I change this person's mind about the movie? No, but I did kind of make him stop and think like, no, it was pretty. Maybe it wasn't as bad as I'm like, it's garbage.
Right.
No. And then, now, Midsommar, I think is fantastic filmmaking on all levels. I will fight to the death for that film, but I will also fight to the death for Van Damme Street Fighter because I fucking love it.
Right.
But I know objectively Midsommar it might not be what somebody wants to see or would enjoy, but I recognize it's a well-made film, whether or not I like it or not. Street Fighter is not well-made.
No.
But it is exceptionally amazing.
So
it's so fun. Con Air. Con Air is ludicrous. But we get Nicolas Cage with a southern accent and a mullet running around in a tank top fighting all these like basically boss criminals. Cyrus the Virus, Diamond Dog. You know, it's literally like a NES video game.
Yeah.
You know, it's fantastic. Not going to be on anybody's top 10 list. I mean, top 10 cheesiest movies I've ever seen. But like Street Fighter, Con Air's on, remote's dropped. Cameron Poe! You know, and then everybody wants to suck Face Off's dick. Like, no, that movie is... I hate that movie.
Really?
I do...
It's kind of funny in parts, though.
I mean, absolutely. There are parts of it I love. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The Somewhere Over the Rainbow part with the little... where the kid's just standing in the middle. I'm like, God, this is stupid. You know, but you got two great actors chewing scenes all over the place, which those parts are great. But the whole motif about his son, it's John Woo. It's John fucking Woo. No, he had he did Hard Target, Broken Arrow, Hard Target's one of my favorite, still my favorite Van Damme movie. In California, if I go to a Halloween party, I have to get the wig and yes, Charles Boudreaux. You know, but and then Broken Arrow, which I love Broken Arrow. That was Travolta's villain turn before Face Off. That's why he was the villain in Face Off, because John Woo liked what he did as a villain in Broken Arrow. And he's a better villain in Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow also has a better pace to it. And even though Christian Slater's the hero, it's still cool, man. Still got good action. Face Off's got good action. And again, Nicolas Cage is just insane for the first 30 minutes. And then he gets put in John Travolta's body. Yeah. And then Cage, no. Oh, this face. That's not the Cage. You know. Yeah. But, you know, thankfully you have Travolta compensating on the other end. Being creepy with his daughter.
Right.
And all that. But it's just, Face Off is just, it's slow. It needs to, and it's just got too many, like, this is cheesy. Is Con Air cheesy? Yes. These are different. Con Air gets, the whole daughter thing is worked into the action and the plot line, where it's like, you going home, Poe? I'm going to see my daughter. And while he's doing one-handed push-ups and stuff like that, and then like, my daddy's coming home in 2 weeks. Put it down to the bunny. They remind you of it, but within the movie until the end, where it's like, all the action stops. People are stealing the money from the machines and everything, and he grabs the rabbit from the sewer, and then rising back, you hear in the background, how do I? And then you must be Casey. I'm your father, baby. It's like, but it's first of all because it's Nicolas Cage.
Right.
You can't help but it's still awesome. The Face Off goes pure like. And then, back to action. And then the action it's well done from the gunfights, but then every big stunt, watch Face Off, you'll see it every 5 seconds. Stuntman, don't look at the camera. What do you see? Clearly
two adjusting to the
two strangers.
Muscles.
So it makes them look weird.
Right.
That's a perfectly I would accept that scientific explanation.
Some muscles didn't quite attach.
Yeah, so through the fight where they're getting beat up, it's
the wind hitting their face.
Yeah,
it's like hitting a flag.
I'll accept it. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, also was another movie I saw recently called The Color Out of Space. It's like an H.P. Lovecraft adaptation where he's the dad in it.
I've heard of this.
It's not bad. I mean, I've heard a lot of good. I heard a lot of really like, oh, this is amazing. It's good. It's excuse me, sorry, everybody.
Space.
It's got some pretty stuff in it.
2010. Okay, not the movie I thought it was.
Oh wait, that's not it. It's gonna be on with Nicolas Cage.
Right. Okay.
That must be like, that was like a foreign one. I think I heard somebody say that some foreign. It might have been like last year, but it was released this year. There it is, right there, above A Score to Settle.
Color Out of Space. Okay, no, the.
Yeah, so it's different. It's kind of got a blob / thing kind of thing going with it. Cage is awesome in it, obviously. There's one actor in it the main person who lives, put it to you that way.
Yeah. The
final girl kind of thing. That's the only actor, they needed a better actor for that character, and I think it would have been really good. Because you got high drama with Cage and his wife, Jolie Richardson. who's hit or miss for me because she was a nip tuck, and I hated that show by the end of it. But it's worth seeing. It's not Pete Cage, but you get some really good Nicolas Cage moments. It's no Mandy, put it to you that way.
Right.
It's having Nicolas Cage in a horror film. I'm all about it. Any and every time, any horror movie that he's in, I want to see. I don't see anything Nicolas Cage is in. I've seen most of his shit. Was it the one with Elijah Wood? Trust.
Oh, right.
That's where it's like where he just screams in his face for like 2 minutes. Like, it's just like he's just a live wire. Like I find Nicolas Cage an exceptionally fun actor to watch, no matter what whether it's in National Treasure, even in Face Off. But it's like starring Season of the Witch, where he's like, yes, I'm a knight. He's Nicolas Cage with like, yes, Badiatus, I guess we'll fight this witch. Like it's just so crazy. I love him to death. Like he's but the thing is, his personal life is also like his real world antics are just as crazy as his movies. Like he's amazing. I love Nicolas Cage. But anyway, we've gone on way too long. I got to catch a flight in the morning. It's 12:30 a.m. our time.
Oh, that's
I need
true.
to get some sleep. So, again, we'll talk to everybody very soon.
But not the way this looks, and probably not the way this sounds, but hopefully better.
We're working on it. My brother's got a Yeti I'm going to get from him. So,
Okay.
for audio at least. But then with Sky, I guess I just need earphones so that it doesn't have the feedback.
Right.
We'll figure it out. That's technical talk. This isn't, 80s technical revisited, whatever. But anyway, next time, aiming for Bond. If not, we'll put something up because I'll have a little more free time out there in terms of where I won't have to, I'll still be working remotely, but I will have more time, like in terms to be more active on social media for the podcast in terms of keeping that somewhat relevant, so to speak. So at least that way, whenever I decide, whenever we test everything's working. If we're ready for Bond, we'll do that. If not, I'll post on various social media platforms what the movie will be, so you can watch it in advance, or be like, seen it 20 times, can't wait to hear about it. We'll go from there. So until then,
Yes.
but for the last time in Louisiana for a while, I remain Trey Harris.
Jesse Sedgley.
Cowabunga! California.